Texas.
I've asked myself, what's it going to take for the Biden administration to pay attention? 7 million migrants, including 1.5 million gotaways.
Cornyn accuses the president of caving to a left-wing base that wants open borders. Fox's Bill Malugin in Eagle Pass.
You can hear a boat going by me right now. That is a Border Patrol boat. These boats have had minimal impact. The Mexican military has been deployed on the Mexican side of the river. That did not stop this mass illegal crossing from taking place. It was nonstop for 2 hours.
The administration has called on Congress to fix a broken system while insisting the border is not open, warning migrants they can face a 5-year ban on seeking asylum if they cross illegally. The strike against the big three automakers eventually comes up at a House hearing as the administration defends its push for EVs.
It took a while to mention the auto workers strike at a House hearing with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, but Pennsylvania Republican Congressman Scott Perry said the Biden administration's push for electric cars is costing auto workers their jobs.
Well, one of two things is going to happen, Representative. Either the EV revolution is going to be made in China or it's going to be made in America.
So right now, it's destroying their jobs.
That we are working to make sure that it's made in America.
And it's being subsidized, which is destroying their jobs.
Despite subsidies, Buttigieg told Republican Congressman Pete Stauber no one is forcing Americans to buy EVs. Stauber said the administration's own stated goal is to have most Americans driving EVs by 2035.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Fed Chief Jay Powell says inflation has moderated.
Nevertheless, the process of getting inflation sustainably down to 2% has a long way to go.
So even though the Fed left rates alone today, they're not ruling out a rate hike by the end of this year. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She's tired of this spending. 81 degrees, mostly sunny downtown. You've got a clear radar, low of 61 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:02. Congress is trying to avoid a government shutdown. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy wants to pass a short-term spending plan that would extend the deadline past September 30th.
But Indiana Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz says that's not the right way to go about it. I'm John Herrick.
September 30th didn't move on the calendar. We knew about that date. Under Republican leadership, we are increasing the amount of unauthorized spending. We don't have our appropriations done.
She tells Tony Katz today that neither Republicans nor Democrats have the backbone to challenge the corrupt swamp that is bankrupting our children and grandchildren. The deadline to avoid a shutdown is September 30th. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Sharon Key has been charged with a felony. Officer Michael Young with IMPD showed up at a Days Inn on the city's northeast side to find an infant that had been stabbed in a hotel room.
A lot of our officers, paramedics, fire, they have children that are infants, and so you can imagine when they arrive what our officers go through.
That girl was sent to the Riley Hospital for Children. A car crashed into a bank in Kokomo this morning. A silver Chrysler drove through the front doors of Solidarity Community Credit Union, and the driver told police he accidentally hit the gas pedal instead of the brake, sending the car over a curb and into the building. No injuries were reported. Younger Hoosiers may be losing interest in joining the Indiana Army National Guard. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Recruiter Dustin Tolbert says there are some things that young Hoosiers just don't want to give up.
The younger generation, this new generation, is more about personal identity, whereas in the military, obviously, we have to strip a little bit of that.
Tolbert says he's hoping to meet some new recruits tomorrow at an event at the Indiana War Memorial Plaza. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
You probably know how much money you've saved in your IRA or 401k. But do you know how much you'll owe in taxes on this money in retirement? Because that's the most important number you need to know right now. Otherwise, you don't know how much money you have.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how much money you'll owe in taxes with your IRA and 401k. Just go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com. Just input a few numbers and you'll instantly see how much money you'll owe in taxes when you retire. Plus, you'll see how much you could potentially save if you take advantage of simple tax planning strategies now.
It's from our good friend Bill Demery, right here in Indy. Don't give the government a nickel more in taxes than you have to. Go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
It's the simplest, easiest, potentially life-altering website, SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
The traffic on the 5s at 3:05. Here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison Southside, eastbound 465, stop-and-go traffic, Kentucky Avenue to the White River. And in Lawrence, northbound 465, stop from 70 up to Penn Pike because of construction. Traffic sponsored by Boost Infinite. Boost Infinite. Hey, if you're thinking of getting the latest iPhone, you need to stop and check out the insane, amazing wireless offer from Boost Infinite. To learn all about it, just pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Back into the 60s for tonight as clouds continue to increase. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. High temperatures warm in the low to mid 80s. I'm Wish TV's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Do you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's...
Hey, my name is Nigel. Hammer's over there. We are a very pro-law enforcement show. I think we have a long record of being pro-law enforcement and having the backing the blue. But when something's wrong, we don't hesitate to call it out either. So the question has to be asked, Hammer, what is going on with the Marion County Sheriff's Office, and what is Carrie Forrestal doing?
It's a mess there right now. It's an embarrassment at the leadership level of the Marion County Sheriff's Office. So let's back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
Last month, we saw the unfortunate murder of Deputy John Durham. He was with the Marion County Sheriff's Department, and he was murdered by a horrific monster because he was all alone. There should have been more people with Deputy Durham. Instead, he was ultimately choked out by the perpetrator using the chain that he was being used to transport on. It was going to and from a medical visit, and a piece of crap murdered John Durham, who was all alone with an incredibly violent murderer. This was the sheriff, Carrie Forrestal.
Two people should have accompanied him two deputies should have accompanied him to Eskenazi when he was charged with murder. Well, staffing has probably got too complacent because we're so short-staffed. People will make decisions that aren't in their best interest, whether that's the deputy, the supervisor. We have changed a roundabout of supervisors so we get a fresh eyes on different sections so that any learned bad habits could be overseen or corrected.
So basically, blaming the staffing issues on why the late Deputy Durham was left alone with a very violent criminal. We're not talking about somebody that had stolen a TV or ripped off a candy bar or something. Yeah. You're talking about a guy that was in jail for murder in the first place. So you heard the sheriff, we're going to make all these changes. Change at the department was the big part of the speech that he gave that day.
All off-site medical transports for inmates shall require two deputies during transport. All off-site medical appointments are conducted using two deputies or combination of one deputy and one detention deputy, never two unarmed deputies. Drivers shall radio to the officer in charge of Eskenazi upon the arrival supporting the hospital visit. Presently, additional overtime is being used to accommodate the increase in staffing required to complete this transport. A heart defibrillator is now affixed to the wall inside the Adult Detention Center Sallyport.
All right, fine. So again, the sheriff says we're going to make all these changes that probably should have been in place before. And I'm sorry, if you have to pull somebody off the street to escort an officer with a murderer in the vehicle, then you absolutely do that. Chalk that up to a mistake that should have never happened. Fine. Well, now we're finding out that the Marion County Sheriff's Department, they released a murderer by accident. Now, here's the thing, Nige. They did this on September 13th. We just now found out about it.
I found out about it like late during our show yesterday.
Right. So on Tuesday afternoon, yesterday, the Sheriff's Department announced that 29-year-old Kevin Mason was released from the Adult Detention Center on September 13th because of a, quote, fault records review by civilian staff.
So it's not like in Pennsylvania where the dude crab walked his way over the walls and through razor blades and was gone for 2 weeks. He strolled out because of a clerical error of the jail,
right?
The adult detention center. And
the guy in question here is wanted on 3 different warrants from the state of Minnesota, one of which is homicide, parole violation, and the other one was for a firearms possession. So you've got a guy that will possess a weapon illegally, a guy that's wanted for homicide in another state. He gets out. He's amongst all of us. Last week, Nige, walking around Indianapolis, driving around. I don't know where he's at right now because they haven't found the guy. But we just now found out about this yesterday. So with all due respect to the leadership at the Marion County Sheriff's Department, Vince Lombardi, your thoughts?
What the hell's going on out here? I just hate segments like these because, like I started out by saying, we back the blue. We love law enforcement. We have done everything on the show to have their back. But, man, at the same time, you were right when you said it's kind of a mess right now. And mess, I mean, it's starting with the horrific murder of Deputy Durham.
And I'm talking about the leadership over at the Sheriff's Department.
You're not talking about the rank and file. I understand that.
Right, because those folks are out there doing their job. They have no say in what goes on with the leadership. This is an elected official. Kerry Forrestal is an elected official. Well, good luck, Mr. Forrestal, having your buddy Ryan Mears, and I know that's your buddy. You guys see each other at Thanksgiving, I'm sure. Good luck having that guy try to find a violent criminal from another state now, because he doesn't even do that good of a job here in Indianapolis. I mean, it's such a mess. The justice system in this city is just an absolute mess. You've got this Mickey Mouse operation going on over at the sheriff's office, and then you find out that the city of Indianapolis really kind of ticking off members of the IMPD by settling with the family of Drayshawn Reed. You remember Drayshawn Reed tried to shoot and kill one of their officers, and at the, advisement of the city of Indianapolis, they settled with his family, which is disgusting. It is a Mickey Mouse operation from the sheriff's office to the prosecutor's office, the mayor's office. Everyone is complicit in this, and I'm frustrated by it because I live here. I vote here. My family lives here. And these people need to get their heads out of their pasty white backsides. Nige, turning our attention to what's happening in Washington today, got a little fiery testimony today. Merrick Garland, Biden's attorney general and lapdog.
Oh, yeah, testifying about the Hunter Biden issues, right?
Testifying in front of the House today. It was a House hearing. Here is Merrick Garland telling Florida Rep. Matt Gaetz that I got no information on the Hunter Biden case.
No one that I know of has spoken to the White House about the Hunter Biden case.
I'm wondering then, okay. No one has spoken to him about the Hunter Biden case. Well, of course not. The Biden staff is not going to say, hey, Merrick, when are you going to go ahead and bust the president's son? When's that on the radar? Of course not.
Plus, the whistleblowers say something different, by the way.
Right.
That we talked about on the show previously.
Here is Representative Mike Johnson of Louisiana with Merrick Garland.
Are you aware that FBI officials have come before this committee and they have stated that there was a cumbersome bureaucratic process that Mr. Weiss had to go through to bring charges in another judicial district? You know that?
I'm not aware, but that's not true. There's nothing cumbersome about the process.
So those whistleblowers are lying to us under oath? Those whistleblowers are lying?
I didn't say that. Their description of the process cumbersome is an opinion. It's not a fact question. All I have to do is sign a section.
Let me get to the fact. Mr. Weiss has been the lead prosecutor on the Hunter Biden case since 2018, correct?
Been the lead prosecutor since he was appointed by President Trump.
Okay, why? Let me ask you, why has the Justice Department dragged this investigation out for so long? Does it really take years to determine if Hunter Biden lied on a federal form related to purchasing a firearm?
Mr. Weiss was a long-time career prosecutor. President Trump appointed him as...
You're not answering the question. Is that standard procedure? Should it take that long to make such a simple determination?
And you can hear Merrick Garland trying so hard to put this on Donald Trump. Well, Trump appointed. No, we're asking you right now. You're the Attorney General right now.
The whistleblowers claim that you slow walked his prosecution. That he when I say Hunter Biden's prosecution of a simple form on a gun charge.
Here's a little bit more of that back and forth between Representative Johnson and Merrick Garland.
He was charged with that investigation under the previous administration. He's continued. He knows how to conduct investigations, and I have not intruded or attempted to evaluate that because that was the promise I made to the Senate.
The whistleblowers gave us testimony about serious misconduct at the Justice Department in regards to the preferential treatment afforded Hunter Biden. Has your office requested an investigation into that?
There are well-known processes for how whistleblowers make their claims. I am a strong proponent of whistleblowers and a strong defender. We have an Inspector General's office. We have an Office of Professional Responsibility. That is the way in which complaints from whistleblowers should be and are appropriately handled.
Didn't he just say the whistleblowers were full of crap, though?
This guy, again, it can't be said enough. Thank God he is not on the Supreme Court. Of all the things that Mitch McConnell, Cocaine Mitch, has done wrong, and there's a lot, there's a long list. The one thing he got right was making sure that this loser didn't get anywhere near the Supreme Court. Now, a little bit more from today because some of the big hitters were still coming to bat. Flamethrower from Florida, Matt Gaetz with Merrick Garland.
Do you know about the money that moved through Rob Walker's shell companies, yes or no?
As I have said repeatedly, I have left these matters to Mr. Weiss. I've not intruded. I've not interfered. I've not tried to find out what he knows.
It's like you're looking the other way on purpose because everybody knows this stuff's happening. And you know what? People don't pay bribes to not get something in return. Right? The China initiative resulted in the convictions of a Harvard professor, of someone at Monsanto. So we were working against the Chinese. They paid the Bidens. And now you're sitting here telling me that North Korea is the big threat.
And Merrick Garland's just sitting there with that sour look on his face. Got one more soundbite for you. Again, this was pretty fascinating today in Washington. Thomas Massey, the rep from Kentucky.
And today, by the way, that was in reference to Ray Epps, and yesterday you indicted him. Isn't that a wonderful coincidence? On a misdemeanor. Meanwhile, you're sending grandmas to prison. You're putting people away for 20 years for merely filming. Some people weren't even there yet. You got the guy on video who's saying go into the Capitol. He's directing people to the Capitol before the speech ends. He's at the site of the first breach. You've got all the goods on him, 10 videos, and it's an indictment for a misdemeanor. The American public isn't buying it.
Yeah, that was another story that broke yesterday right before the show. They finally got Ray Epps on a misdemeanor. The guy that was encouraging people the day before and the day of to break through the barricades and go into the Capitol. I mean,
meanwhile, grandmas and people who weren't there basically get life sentences. All right, Matt Bear, what's going on?
Fishers fire northbound 69 and 96th Street. Two right lanes are blocked with this vehicle fire, and traffic is stop and go back to East 82nd Street. On the east side, Lawrence northbound 465 stopped after 72 Penn Pike because of construction. That should be over before Monday morning's rush hour. South side eastbound 465 jammed Kentucky Avenue to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Allworth Financial Uncompromised Wealth Management. Discover Uncompromised Wealth Management because your financial future deserves better. Call 833-GO-ALLWORTH or visit allworthfinancial.com to talk with a local advisor today. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Coming up sometime in the next 45, 50 minutes, tickets for you to win. Your chance to win tickets to Adam Sandler doing the big concert here in Indy. So if you're a fan of the Sandman, we've got some tickets for you coming up. Also, Bobby Burak from Outkick scheduled to join us at 3:35. One of the great writers. Phenomenal follow on social media. That is all coming up. It's 82 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
having pain like that and not knowing how you caused it and for how long it's lasting, it's debilitating.
QC Kinetics patient Diane Richardson hated not being able to live her life to the fullest due to joint pain. But then she called QC Kinetics, where regenerative treatments helped her pain go away.
The result was phenomenal.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using natural biologics to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
This was a great alternative for me as opposed to going in and possibly having surgery or something else. There was no downtime, and that's what I loved. My life is too busy for me to be sidelined.
If you're tired of constant pain from arthritis or injury, don't think the old treatments are the only treatments. Discover regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
Just to feel good and know that I'm out of pain is the best thing ever. I'm able to do everything that I want to do.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
You probably know how much money you've saved in your IRA or 401k, but do you know how much you'll owe in taxes on this money in retirement? Because that's the most important number you need to know right now. Otherwise, you don't know how much money you have.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how much money you'll owe in taxes with your IRA and 401k. Just go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com. Just input a few numbers and you'll instantly see how much money you'll owe in taxes when you retire. Plus, you'll see how much you could potentially save if you take advantage of simple tax planning strategies now.
It's from our good friend Bill Demery, right here in Indy. Don't give the government a nickel more in taxes than you have to. Go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
It's the simplest, easiest, potentially life-altering website, SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
Have you thought about buying a hot tub? Hi, it's Bob from Royal Spa. Now is a great time to invest in your rejuvenation. We've worked hard to build back inventory these last 2 years, and our showrooms are packed. We've got new models, scratch and dents, and even several demos ready for delivery. No more waiting months. Our hot tubs can be yours today. Experience the difference for yourself. Visit us online at royalspa.com.
Ah, Royal Spa.
Hey, JMV here with Lance Smith, owner of LD Smith Plumbing. And Lance, what's that on your shirt?
Well, I just helped pull out 50 feet of old sewer line and installed a new water heater. Oh, and I just ate some chocolate pudding, too.
So that could be mud, chocolate, or...
I guess so.
Oh, no, Lance. We're out of here. Let Lance and his heroes handle all of your plumbing problems. They're truly dirty, stinking honest. LDSmithPlumbing.com today.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
Friday to Sunday at Sundown Gardens, 30% off all trees, shrubs, evergreens, and 50% off pottery and perennials. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, sundowngardens.com.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana. Hammer and Nigel.
They should have been fired a long time ago.
I think we got a show.
Oh, yeah, we got a show.
We definitely got a show.
Oh, yeah!
I don't get this list on social media that's been kind of going around. Somebody started a topic about the weirdest dating requirements that you have, and it's all over the place now. So here's some of the highlights. Weirdest dating requirement you have. The only requirement I would have is that back in the day is that they were breathing.
Right.
Screw all this other stuff. But now in this day and age, they have to snore because snoring is so cute. That's on this list.
They clearly haven't heard us snore.
Yeah, both of us. My wife wakes me up and makes me put on the old CPAP machine if I forget to put it on. Believe me, it's not cute to her.
So this list, again, is supposed to be like weirdest dating requirements. There are some dudes that are like, I don't want a woman who smokes, or I don't want a woman who's taller than me, or something like that. That's what we're talking about. But here are some of the more quirky ones.
Need some more here.
People are sharing online. No backward hat wearing guys or girls. Now, I'm not going to lie, I might be able to get with that one because I think there is an age requirement. We almost, here at this radio station, had to have an intervention for Rob Kendall.
He loves to wear a nice, good backwards hat, doesn't he?
You're a dad who's had hair transplant treatment. It's time to turn the hat around, Rob. You're too old to have the hat on backwards. How about this one? No fishing photos on your profile. Quote, I love fishing, but if one of your main photos shows you holding a fish, you're super basic to me. I don't know. What if you are a professional fisherman? Those dudes make a ton of money.
Plus, I mean, my kid loves to go. We haven't been fishing in a long time, but if your kid loves to go fishing, screw it. I'm putting pictures of us fishing on this profile. Here's another one. No flip-flops on dudes. Oh,
Tony Katz, are you listening? Nobody wants to see your fat, hairy feet. Let's make this perfectly clear. And Allison's laughing because she used to have to work with Tony Katz in the morning when he would still come to work, and you would have to look at those feet.
Look, she's not even reaching for her microphone to comment. But hold on. So I'm not allowed to wear flip-flops? Like if I'm single out there, if I'm out there and 47-year-old Nige wants to go out and get the newspaper in his flip-flops, that's a no-go?
Well, I think that's different. If you just want to go take the trash out or go to the mailbox, I think that's fine. Right. If you're going out to Applebee's, put some shoes and socks on. I think that's kind of the angle here.
Even Applebee's is questionable. Ruth's Chris is probably more appropriate.
How about this one? No obsession with cryptocurrency. Now, that is one I can get behind. No vanity license plates. Abdul has a vanity license plate.
Oh, yeah, he loves it.
And he always takes up 2 parking spots, too. It's like, dude, that's a bold move.
Especially when people know who you are because of your license plate.
Right. Last one here. No politics. It's good to care, it's good to have opinions, and it's good to vote. But if your political party is part of your identity, it's a hard no. Listen, I beg to differ on that one because if I'm a single dude and I'm going out there trying to mingle and find somebody to do things with, and she looks at me and goes, boy, that Fetterman's a big clown, isn't he? Did you see Joe Biden fall down the other day? I would do anything to that woman.
You would do anything for her.
I said what I said. If you're looking for a reason to drink tonight, Nige, if you're looking for a little reason to celebrate, happy 67th birthday to actor Gary Cole. Gary Cole, best known as being Lumbergh.
We have sort of a problem here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports. Yeah. Did you see the memo about this?
He was Ricky Bobby's pot-dealing daddy, Reese Bobby.
Okay, I am a semi-professional race car driver and an amateur tattoo artist.
Don't listen to these people, Ricky. You're a winner. You got the gift. Always remember, if you ain't first,
you're last.
Gary Cole is one of those actors that everything he is in, he makes the movie better.
Well, he's the guy and he's the other announcer opposite Jason Bateman in Dodgeball.
That's right.
Cotton McKnight. Remember the famous line, that's a bold strategy, Cotton?
Yes, that is right. Everything he's in, he makes better. Gary Cole and Eugene Levy, these are the 2 guys. They're never the main star of the movie. Very rarely are they the main star of the movie. But whatever they're in, no matter what the role is, Gary Cole had a small part in the Suits series I just got done binge watching. He's awesome. Everything that dude's in, he makes better. Happy 67th birthday to Bill Lumbergh, Reese Bobby, Mike Brady, Kent Davidson, Cotton McKnight, Andrew Klein, Gary Cole. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis has been solving garage door problems for 33 years. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
Reggie was a nurse for 16 years. I had become very burnt out. I wasn't making good money. Then it happened. There was an ad for My Computer Career, and it just spoke to me. My Computer Career was the best decision he ever made. I could study anywhere from my laptop, and I was working in the first couple weeks of me being in class. Reggie hit a home run. The field is teeming with jobs. Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. The school is amazing. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
The reviews are in from McDonald's hotter, juicier burgers. Let's hear what Hamburglar has to say.
Bravo, bravo.
What our old friend Hamburglar said is, the patties are juicier. The bun is a thing of beauty. The cheese perfectly melted. Bravo. My burger dreams have come true. You heard him, folks. These are McDonald's best burgers ever. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Bravo.
Available at most restaurants in this area. Comparison of McDonald's classic burgers to prior burgers.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time, there's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How she feels about a new spending bill. Mostly sunny at 84 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar is clear. Low temps fall to the 60s tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:31. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy wants to pass a temporary spending bill to avoid a government shutdown with an end-of-the-month deadline. Indiana Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz says it seems like all legislators want to do is spend.
I'm fine if we're going to increase spending on some of the issues. But then where are your cuts? Where are we going to be cutting something?
She tells Tony Katz today that the Republican House is failing America. President Biden says he met with Brazil's president today. The two countries want to work together on climate change issues.
We're working in lockstep to tackle the climate crisis, including mobilizing hundreds of millions of dollars to conserve the Amazon and the critical ecosystems in Latin America.
And Brazil's president recently criticized the U.S. and its military support for Ukraine. Secretary of State Antony Blinken accused Russia of committing war crimes and crimes against humanity in Ukraine.
For over a year and a half, Russia has shredded the major tenets of the United Nations Charter, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, international humanitarian law, and flouted one Security Council resolution after another.
He said Russia is attacking the core principles of the UN Charter. The Federal Reserve is once again pausing interest rate hikes from March 2022 through last May. The Fed raised rates at 10 consecutive meetings to try and combat inflation. That pause not expected to last until the end of the year. Former Indiana Congressman Steve Booyer is headed to prison. Ryan Hedrick explains.
He was convicted of insider trading and sentenced to nearly 2 years in federal prison. Booyer, a war veteran and a former House prosecutor at former President Bill Clinton's 1998 impeachment trial, was involved in a case that included a $26.5 billion merger of T-Mobile and Sprint. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:33.
Don't you love fall in Indy, but you hate the paint? Well, do what your neighbor Mark did. He called Rhino Shield.
It's a two-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
No paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With traffic at 334, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, looking at northbound 69 Ventures. It is a vehicle fire after 96. 2 right lanes blocked. Traffic jam back to East 82nd. Lawrence, northbound 465 is stopped from 72 Penn Pike because of construction. And inbound 65 stop and go traffic 21st to Meridian Penn. Eastbound 70 stop and go Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Southside, we're moving again. Eastbound 465 slowly from Man Road over to White River. Traffic sponsored by the Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show, September 22nd through the 24th at Grand Park. Hundreds of experts and thousands of ideas, plus marketable shopping and kids' entertainment. Get $5 tickets at suburbanindieshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for the traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And a forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Back into the 60s for tonight as clouds continue to increase. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. High temperatures warm in the low to mid 80s. I'm Wish TV's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the hotline.
Bobby Burak is a writer for Outkick. Great follow on social media. He joins us now. Bobby, got a couple different things that you have put articles out. I want to touch on this article you have about the trans community here in just a moment. But I believe your latest is about Russell Brand and the problem that we're seeing with companies like YouTube. Walk us through that.
Yeah, so we learned Monday night that YouTube has demonetized Russell Brand over allegations, and the allegations are very serious: rape, sexual assault, but they're all unproven. Yet YouTube went ahead and froze Brand's revenue for 4 different accounts. So he can no longer make money on his YouTube channel on the basis of people accused him of doing stuff that he denies, that no criminal charges have been brought against him. I mean, that's an incredibly dangerous precedent that YouTube is a source of income for all sorts of creators. Now, Russell Brand can obviously afford it, but some people can't. And if you can be removed from the monetization program based on unsubstantiated allegations, I mean, we're all at the mercy of that. I found that really disturbing. And I know a lot of people just want to dismiss it and say, well, it's Russell Brand, he's rich, maybe he did these things. That's not really the point.
Right.
In 2018, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube banned Alex Jones from social media. People said, oh, he's a scumbag, he's a bigot, who cares? But that enabled these big tech companies to govern like that because nobody pushed back in Washington, nobody pushed back in Silicon Valley, and very few influential media figures pushed back. That practice of banning people for speech and what they call abusive behavior just continued to escalate. I thought it culminated with when Twitter removed Alex Berenson for holding the government accountable for the vaccine. So this doesn't end with Russell Brand. If YouTube sets the precedent, and they have, that you can be demonetized based on unproven allegations, it's just going to continue to spiral. And to me, that's concerning. It should be one of the biggest stories in all of media right now.
And Bobby, and like you said, I mean, it's to me, I'm not surprised at all. This is the same platform that took legitimate doctors off YouTube for having discussions and forums about the vaccine and COVID-19 and the origins of COVID-19. And this was the same platform that I believe took DeSantis off and discussions that he was having with doctors about COVID-19. So nobody should be surprised by this at all, because this is like you said, it's par for the course for this and other platforms.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate, because this so often gets lost, Russell Brand has not been charged. He's not guilty. I mean, you are, by definition, by the Constitution, I know this isn't the government, but you are supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, yet YouTube has applied the standard that Russell Brand is guilty until proven innocent. I believe in the old adage that you can't disprove a negative. So I don't know if he can ever prove he wasn't guilty, so maybe he'll just be banned from monetization forever. And I disagree with a lot of people on the right who say, well, who cares? There's Rumble, there's X. Yeah, but those are very, very small platforms compared to YouTube. The video market share of YouTube is currently at 97%. X possibly eventually could become a substitution. It's not. Rumble, as much as I like the people behind Rumble, where Russell Brand does a lot of his work, does not have the mass reach or the financial opportunity of YouTube. So as much as I don't like YouTube and other people don't, they're one of the most influential social media platforms in the country. I would argue as far as content, they're number one.
It's almost going to take some sort of legislation to change before companies like YouTube are held accountable here. I mean, because this kind of stuff has been going on for a while. You go back, a decade or so, the Duke lacrosse case. These lacrosse players at Duke, they were convicted in the court of public opinion, but ultimately the whole thing was a lie, and it came out later on. Back before ESPN was too busy telling us how racist we are, they had a great documentary, a 30 for 30, called Fantastic Lies about this. And this story with Russell Brand, again, we don't know if he's innocent or guilty, but the fact is nobody knows right now. The same thing is kind of happening here.
Yeah, and what's fascinating about that is that YouTube, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they claim that they're a platform, not a publisher, which protects them from liability in Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. So there's no burden for them to bear if Russell Brand is guilty. He's not a YouTube employee. There's no reason for YouTube to rule on this case. If it turns out he is guilty and he's a rapist and a pervert, well, maybe he'll go to jail or maybe he'll lose his fan base. It's not up to YouTube. YouTube has no reason to get involved in this. Again, he's not a YouTube employee. YouTube is at no legal or financial risk by allowing him to monetize his content on their platform based on their case with legislation. So that's what it comes down to, right? In order for them to stop, they're either going to have to be challenged or lose that privilege in Section 230. And it's entirely arbitrary. I mean, I listed in my piece yesterday, I found 3 rappers who've been accused of rape. One was arrested for it, and they're still allowed to monetize their rap songs on YouTube. So why is that? Why is Russell Brand demonetized, but rappers who've been accused of rape, even arrested for rape, can still monetize their content? That's a question that I'd love for YouTube to answer, but unfortunately, I don't know who to ask because there's no front-facing figure on YouTube. There's no communication department to communicate with. All of it's done anonymously.
Bobby Burak is our guest. He is a writer for Outkick. So you have an article out about the trans community and how they're being exploited by the political left and fundraising campaigns. This is something we've talked a lot on this show about. Not everybody is on board with some of these ridiculous, radical things. And a lot of folks in the gay community, a lot of folks who do consider themselves trans, they're not in favor of a lot of this radical crap that's taking place. Walk me through your article.
Yeah, I've written about the movement and the rise of it and the mainstream push to normalize changing genders. And I kept asking myself, well, when did all this start? Because you read history books, people have been identifying as different genders. There was stories that in the 1800s, Native Americans did that, and people just thought they were dressing up like the other gender. So it's not exactly a new phenomenon of people identifying as the opposite gender. But what it has changed is the normalization of it. And you can really pinpoint 2015 when the Human Rights Campaign, the leading gay rights lobbyist in Washington, started to mainstream these ideas. Now, the HRC gained fame and fortune by fighting for gay people to get married. That's how they raised money, and that's how they became so affluent. Well, what happened in 2015? The Supreme Court ruled that all 50 states must legalize gay marriage. Well, you would think the HRC would celebrate. Their mission was complete. But it's not that simple, because once gay marriage was legalized, they still had to have a cause to raise money for it. They still had to tell George Soros, hey, give us all this money for this cause. They had to find a new community with whom they could sympathize and make a victim. And they chose the trans community. And ever since 2015, this whole idea that the trans community is suppressed and victimized has been their number one message. And they're actually making more money and raising more money now than ever before. The trans community is being completely exploited by the HRC and politicians in Washington. I mean, get this. The HRC dictates this program called CEI. It's a lesser-known form of ESG, but one of the most pervasive. They give companies a score, particularly on how they promote transgenderism, and investment firms like BlackRock and what's the other one called? BlackRock, and there's two other ones. They use those scores to determine investment. And what I found very alarming is Target gained a 100 out of 100 score this year. Why? Because they introduced tuck-friendly swimwear. Anheuser-Busch had a 100 out of 100 score after they made a can with Dylan Mulvaney, but they then lost their perfect score when they didn't defend the decision to the HRC's liking. The HRC's fingerprints are all over this movement, and they're not benefiting the trans community. They're benefiting themselves, their pockets, their fundraising, and their reputation.
This sounds so familiar to me, Bobby. It sounds like almost like the BLM, the organization, taking advantage of millions and millions of African Americans who legitimately thought they were donating to this cause, and then Patricia Cullors, the co-founder, is buying mansions in white neighborhoods, white gated communities. I'll give you the perfect example. Breonna Taylor, her mom has called out you remember her? Breonna Taylor died of following it was a police shooting in her home during the execution of a no-knock warrant looking for a boyfriend. Breonna Taylor's mom called BLM out and said, "You have done nothing for us. You are a fraud, and I don't need you. I've watched you all raise money on behalf of Breonna's family, and you haven't done a damn thing." It sounds awfully familiar, the same type of scenario.
Yeah, and I would take it a step further. That's a great comparison. What happened at the end of the civil rights movement? The Democratic Party introduced affirmative action. So the trend here is once a problem is solved, these people in Washington can't just celebrate the win. They have to figure out a way to keep tensions high, keep a need for social governance. Affirmative action gave them a need for racial governance. This trans movement has allowed the HRC to influence social governance. So the progressive movement inherently must keep progressing, right? Like, it doesn't end. You always have to find a new community to uplift on what I call the hierarchy of victimhood. All of this is a scam. And I conclude my piece quite simply saying the only people benefiting from the trans movement are the people enabling it, the politicians, the corporate executives, and the lobbyists. The trans people aren't benefiting from this. They have to deal with the scars, the humiliation, the pain from genital mutilation. They're being exploited, used, and weaponized, and I don't know how many of them know it, but they all should.
Bobby Burak is a writer for Outkick. Check out his work. He comes with facts. He comes ready to debate.
Really good stuff.
Really good stuff, Bobby. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate it, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Electric vehicles are here to stay. And if you're looking for an electric vehicle, Andy Moore Ford is your EV headquarters. More selection. Get to Andy Moore Ford to shop the Mach-E, the E-Transit, the F-150 Lightning in stock, and more arriving daily. Save more at the pump when you switch to an Andy Moore Ford EV. Say hello to more rebates with federal and state incentives. You could save more. How's over $7,500 sound to you? But the benefits don't end there. Purchasing an EV with Andy Moore means you can take advantage of excellent services like more to your door, more peace of mind with over a decade of experience in selling and servicing electric vehicles. Andy Moore Ford's EV experts are here to answer all of your questions from sales to service, parts to maintenance. Check out Andy Moore Ford. Find them in Plainfield at 2713 East Main Street, 2713 East Main Street. Andy Moore Ford. Andy Moore, M-O-H-R. AndyMooreFord.com. That's AndyMooreFord.com.
I've got Window Nation windows. My neighbors loved the way they looked so much. They got themselves a house full of windows. My mom just made the call to get some Window Nation windows at her house. Hey, look, the weather is changing. The air is cooler. And if your windows aren't opening properly, do they stay open? Do they close properly? Are they drafty now? You need new windows. Now is the time headed into winter.
You want a deal? You want to save money? How about this, Bal? 0, 0, 0. 0 money down, 0 payments, 0 interest for 2 years. And that's on top of the existing deal where you can get up to 50% off all style of windows. Bow, bay, double hung, you name it, you can get up to half off. 866-90-NATION. Even if you're just thinking about getting windows, call Window Nation today. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com and tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Your fireplace is the heart of your home, warming your family and creating cherished memories. But did you know that your fireplace needs annual maintenance?
At Chimney Solutions, our CSIA certified technicians perform full chimney inspections, checking for gaps and cracks in the liner system. We check for air quality issues in the home as well as potential fire hazards in the chimney system.
Don't compromise on the safety and well-being of your home. Trust the experts at Chimney Solutions to care for your fireplace and your chimney.
24/7 ER care for kids. 24/7 peace of mind for you. Riley Children's Health emergency doctors and nurses are in the ER around the clock at IU Health North in Carmel. Learn more at rileychildrens.org/ER.
Well, Cody was 24 years old, and he had a big sense of humor. Always liked to make people laugh.
Dennis DeMoss of Reith Riley Construction's son Cody was killed May 9th, 2014 while working in the Cone Zone.
Well, it was a normal day. Get dressed, drink coffee, and my phone rang. It was about 5:30. It was one of the workers on the road. Cody's been in an accident. He didn't make it. Someone come through the construction zone and hit 2 of our guys. I hung the phone up. My wife's standing right beside me, and our daughter, she was standing there. The hardest part was to tell them right then that our son just was dead. All of our people that's out there, they are moms and dads and brothers and sisters, and we want to go home too. We're not out there to inconvenience people. We're trying to make it better for everybody. Give us some space, let us do our work, and we'll be out of your way and move on.
A message from Indiana's District Council of Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Don't fall for the free furnace upcharge tricks. Get an honest, fair quote from Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer. Call themarshallnow.com.
Let's do the thing. Let's pick up the energy here. Let's have a little fun. Caller number 9, 239-9393. You will have a chance to win a couple tickets to go see Adam Sandler. Gamebridge Fieldhouse, November 15th, 7:30 p.m. If you want to see the Sandman, caller number 9, your chance to win 239-9393. We'll play a game right after we check the roads with Matt Bear.
All right, Hammer, looking at the northwest side, southbound 465. It's on the on-ramp from West 86th Street to southbound. That ramp is partially blocked because of a spilled load. Looking in Lawrence, northbound 465, stop traffic from 70 up to Penn Pike. That's because of construction. Northbound 69, the vehicle fire has cleared at 96th Street. Still slow back to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by the Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show, September 22nd through the 24th at Grand Park. Hundreds of experts and thousands of ideas, plus marketplace shopping and kids entertainment. Get $5 tickets at suburbanindieshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Temperature gonna get a little warmer next couple of days, creeping back up to the mid-80s. Right now, sunshine, 83 degrees at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, and it's time to play Adam Schiff or Adam Sandler.
Stop looking at me, Swan. And now, time to play Adam Schiff
I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy in plain sight.
or Adam Sandler.
Cause this night is better. I leave the hair silky and smooth.
Adam Schiff or Adam Sandler on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Every day this week in the 3 o'clock hour, we're giving away tickets to see Adam Sandler. Kevin was caller at number 9. Kevin, how are you?
Gentlemen, I am awesome. How's it going?
Man, we're doing well. You
Good,
like
buddy.
you like Sandler movies? You like Adam Sandler, Kevin?
Dude, I dig Sandler, but when I win this, I'm taking my sister-in-law. She is the biggest fan.
That's awesome. Well, you got to earn the tickets here. You got to earn your keep around here. We're going to give you a statement. It will either be a statement about California Representative Adam Schiff or about Adam Sandler. You get 3 out of 5. We're going to give you the tickets, okay?
Yes, sir. Let's do this.
Number 1 was once called a watermelon head by Donald Trump.
That was pencil neck.
Yeah.
I saw Adam Schiff, this guy, the watermelon head. I say, no, he's like a watermelon head. But he said the other day about Biden with the laptop from hell.
Okay.
I never heard that one.
One down. Got to get 2 more. Number 2.
Yes, sir.
Once said that Donald Trump was inciting an erection.
Once again, the pencil neck.
To inciting an erection. To inciting an erection. To inciting an erection.
Okay,
All right,
Allison.
Allison.
Last one. Get this right. We'll give you the tickets. Once said, and I quote, I like Vicky, and she likes me back, and she showed me her boobies, and I like them too.
Adam Sandler.
Yeah, Kevin!
All right.
Oh, man. I don't think I'd heard the watermelon head one before. That's great. Wow.
Kevin.
You guys rock. Thank you.
You got it. Stay on the line, Kevin. More tickets to give away tomorrow. Top stories next.
You probably know how much money you've saved in your IRA or 401k, but do you know how much you'll owe in taxes on this money in retirement? Because that's the most important number you need to know right now. Otherwise, you don't know how much money you have.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how much money you'll owe in taxes with your IRA and 401k. Just go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com. Just input a few numbers and you'll instantly see how much money you'll owe in taxes when you retire. Plus, you'll see how much you could potentially save if you take advantage of simple tax planning strategies now.
It's from our good friend Bill Demery, right here in Indy. Don't give the government a nickel more in taxes than you have to. Go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
It's the simplest, easiest, potentially life-altering website, SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
As back-to-school season sweeps through Indiana, it's not just about books and pencils. It's the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. With Moss Roofing, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com, you're not alone. From a new quality roof replacement to tackling the insurance process, which can be very annoying. They cover it all, whether it's catching up on the repairs from that heavy hail and thunderstorms or just creating the safest place to do math homework. Moss Roofing is here to help. Moss is your trusted Indianapolis roofing contractor. Don't wait. Minor storm damage can lead to major repairs if left untreated. Schedule your free expert inspection today. Contact Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. Moss Roofing, 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, mossroofing.com.
Say goodbye to flooded basements with the help of Justin Dorsey Plumbing. Our knowledgeable, friendly technicians can install a brand new sub pump to keep your home dry and protected year-round. Call us at 463-255-7619 and enjoy a limited-time offer of $55 off your new pump. That's 463-255-7619. Don't cry about your plumbing problems. Call today, fix today is the Justin Dorsey Plumbing way.
On behalf of Premier Arms, PremierArms.com, thank you to everyone who showed up to their big fundraiser celebrating their 22nd anniversary. The benefit helped the Veterans of Foreign Wars Department of Indiana Veteran Suicide Awareness and raised over $32,000 for the Indiana VFW. The sponsors, manufacturers, and everyone that came out supported Premier Arms, supported their neighbors, and that's exactly what Hoosiers do. Find out more about this great cause at PremierArms.com. PremierArms.com.
That's Mike saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
To go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
Don't fall for the free furnace upcharge tricks. Get an honest, fair quote from Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer. Call themarshallnow.com.
It takes everyone in the community working together to create a brighter future. Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Visit liveunited.org to learn how you can help.
Coming up in 2 minutes, an update on a missing murder suspect in Marion County. An Indiana congresswoman says she's tired of government spending, and Hoosier schools are being rewarded for their students' success in the classroom. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You were listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
The White House calls it a circus. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. In a written statement, a spokesman accuses Republicans of baselessly attacking the president to distract from their own chaos and inability to govern ahead of a possible government shutdown. This is Attorney General Merrick Garland spends a long day at a House hearing.
The fix is in. Even with the face-saving indictment last week of Hunter Biden, everyone knows the fix is in.
House Judiciary Committee Chair Jim Jordan reiterating whistleblower claims that a tax probe of the president's son was slow-walked, with the statute of limitations allowed to expire on tax years involving possible ties to the president.
We apply the same laws to everyone. There is not one set of laws for the powerful and another for the powerless. One for the rich and another for the poor, one for Democrats and another for Republicans.
Garland also insisting the Hunter Biden special counsel does have the authority to bring charges in any district he deems appropriate. The Senate leader is taking action to confirm a few of the hundreds of senior military nominees held up over an abortion fight. Majority Leader Chuck Schumer setting up votes on 3 positions, including the Joint Chiefs Chairman. Alabama Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville has blocked fast-track confirmations over objections to a Pentagon policy allowing time off and travel expenses for abortions. President Biden meeting Brazil's leader at the UN and announcing a new joint effort to protect workers' rights.
That means ending forced labor, ending child labor, ending worker exploitation, which is far too common around the world.
Also focusing on workplace safety and discrimination and the use of new technologies. The Fed leaves interest rates alone, but a late drop on Wall Street. The Dow down 76 points at the closing bell. During the session, it was up more than 200. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Deputies think she's helping him. Sunny at 84 degrees downtown. There's nothing on your radar. Low of 61 expected tonight with a few clouds hanging around. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Murder suspect Kevin Mason is still missing after he was accidentally released in Marion County a week ago, but police say they arrested his girlfriend.
She has not cooperated. We arrested her today at 2 o'clock. She's employed as a healthcare worker in Carmel in the nursing profession.
Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestall says she's been ID'd as Desiree Oliver. They believe she's still helping Mason. If you know where he could be, give police a call. How to stop the government shutdown. John Herrick reports that a congresswoman from Indiana and the House Speaker Kevin McCarthy have differences on how to get that done.
McCarthy wants to pass a short-term spending bill that gets the U.S. government past the September 30th deadline. Congresswoman Victoria Spartz of Indiana's 5th Congressional District says it's out-of-control spending that's put the country where it is now.
We are borrowing $5 billion a day. $5 billion a day.
Spartz in an interview this week on Tony Katz Today.
We are going to spend more on paying interest, including to China, than our national defense very soon.
Spartz says McCarthy's not showing good leadership, but McCarthy says he's not quitting on America. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Army National Guard is hosting a recruiting event tomorrow at the Indiana War Memorial Plaza.
It's our little way to give back to the community, but highlighting some of the challenges that we do have and bring our recruiters out, maybe face those challenges head on. I think that we face a kind of an educational challenge.
Recruiter Dustin Tolbert says another challenge they face is that young people may not be as interested. If students perform well in the classroom, their school may be recognized as a National Blue Ribbon School by the U.S. Department of Education.
A school in Center Grove or Johnson County has not received this award in 22 years. But today, Sugar Grove was acknowledged.
Sugar Grove Elementary School Principal Kristen Rodman in Greenwood telling her teachers they were given the honor along with 10 other schools. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros, and a sincere thank you to our loyal customers for helping make us national sales leaders for the 7th year in a row. We continue to save our new clients 30 to 40% when compared to their current ACA, short-term COBRA, or small group programs. Breaking news. On July the 7th, President Biden signed an executive order outlawing short-term health plans. If you're on a short-term plan or just unhappy with your present coverage, call Terry or Ron at 317-563-0868 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-563-0868 or rragency.org. If you don't call us, we can't help you. Our coverages are guaranteed to age 65 with zero deductible and zero copay options, all on the largest network in the country. Give us a call. What the heck you got to lose? As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
The traffic on the 5s at 4:05. What's going on, Matt Bear?
All right, Harrison, looking at the northwest side, the on-ramp from West 86th Street to southbound 465, it's open, but it's partially blocked. There's a spilled load. Looking in Lawrence, northbound 465 is stopped from 70 up to Penn Pike because of road construction. Inbound 65 stop and go from 29th to Meridian Penn, and eastbound 70 slow right now from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. Traffic sponsored by Speedway. Right now, any large hot coffee at Speedway is only $1.49 with Speedy Rewards. Oh my, the convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 1/9/24. Participating U.S. stores. See app for full terms. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Back into the 60s for tonight as clouds continue to increase. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. High temperatures warm in the low to mid 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos? So let's...
You know, Hammer, one of the things Donald Trump's been talking a lot about during his campaign over the past year is that he would end the Ukraine-Russian war within 24 hours if he was elected president. He would, and he never really elaborates on how. He said he'd get the two in the room. He says he knows Putin well. He says he knows Zelensky well, and he would get a deal done. It's all about getting a deal done. And then when asked specifically what he'd do, his excuse is like, look, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do before it happens. You know, I don't want to I don't want to show my hand, right?
Correct.
And so Zelensky is here in the United States. Zelensky, of course, the leader of Ukraine right now.
Not the auto parts king and Tommy Boy.
Right.
Just want to make sure we're talking about the right Zelensky here.
He was talking about during his speech today at the UN, and there's a bunch of leaders of countries here in town in New York for the UN, and he was urging Donald Trump to publicly share his peace plan for Ukraine after 45 said he would end the war within 24 hours.
Well, and Trump has talked about this in the past. A lot of the things that have to be done can only be done when you have the power of the presidency behind you. You can't just do it as a person who's not the president.
Sure.
And that's what Donald Trump is right now. He is not the president. So you have to have the weight of the Oval Office. You have to be the commander-in-chief.
And you can't show your cards.
Right. Biden showed his cards with Afghanistan. How did that work out? Just an unbelievable, unmitigated disaster. Now, Zelensky also, in his big speech to the UN, comparing the Russia war to climate change, and then, if that's not enough, says, hold my beer, finger wags the United States about climate change.
Though humanity is failing on its climate policy objectives,
This means that extreme weather will still impact the normal global life, and some evil state will also weaponize its outcomes. And when people in the streets of New York and other cities of the world went out on climate protests, we all have seen them. And when people in Morocco and Libya and other countries die as a result of natural disasters, and when islands and countries disappear underwater, and when tornadoes and deserts are spreading into new territories, and when all of this is happening, one unnatural disaster in Moscow decided to launch a big war and kill tens of thousands of people.
Oh, he sounds mad, Nige. We better hurry up and send him another $100 billion.
I'll tell you exactly what's going on here. It's very transparent. Mainstream America, the polling for the United States and their support of Ukraine, what's that look like right now? I mean, just generally.
It's right up there with jock itch.
Yeah, right. Who A, believes that climate change is going to end the world in 10 years, and B, loves giving money to Ukraine? What faction of the political realm loves both of those things?
That would be the political left.
The radical, political, progressive left. He's all in. He's leaning in on the progressive left now because that's all Zelensky has. He knows he doesn't have mainstream America. It's pretty simple to see what's going on here.
There is one person who feels like the climate change situation is dire, and I'm going to get to that here in just a moment. But first, here is Florida Rep. Byron Donalds. His expectations on what's going to happen with the House of Representatives when Zelensky goes up to the podium tomorrow and says, gimme, 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 gimme.
The first thing I'll tell you is there's no money in the House right now for Ukraine. There's just not, it's not there.
You mean there's no support for money?
No. And to be blunt, we're running a $2 trillion deficit. Any money we give to Ukraine, we're borrowing from our future. That's the facts. Those are the truth. You feel how you want to feel about it. I'm here to tell you what's right and what's real. Look, it's not a good time for him to be here, quite frankly. That's just the reality. And the third piece is what's happened with Ukraine is frankly the fault of leadership of Joe Biden. Let's be very clear of that. So don't put that on the backs of the American people now. If we had a commander-in-chief who knew how to lead as opposed to take naps, then we would be in a much better situation when it comes to Ukraine and global security for that matter.
And plus, Hammer, aren't we on the edge of another government shutdown?
Why, yes.
This month?
Yes, we are.
So, all that, and literally, there's no more money for Ukraine. And this on the precipice of another government shutdown.
But I guarantee you, they're going to find a way to put a couple bill in the back pockets of Zelensky so he's got a little spending money when he takes that flight back to Ukraine.
Not a couple bills, a couple bill.
Yes.
As in billion.
Correct. Now, to answer the question you posed earlier, who thinks all of this climate change talk is a winning strategy? I know someone who does, Nige. And she is currently the sitting vice president of the United States. On her college campus event, here is Kamala Harris talking about climate anxiety.
I've heard young leaders talk with me about a term they've coined called climate anxiety. Period. Right? Which is fear of the future and the unknown, of whether it makes sense for you to even think about having children, whether it makes sense for you to think about aspiring to buy a home, because what will this climate be? But because people voted, we have been able to put in place over $1 trillion in investment in our country around things like climate resilience and adaptation.
All right, two things here. Okay. One, who is that sheep that's on the stage? That's the moderator. Yeah, yeah, climate anxiety. Okay, the express. Who's that? And number two, if you're the kind of person that's thinking, maybe I shouldn't have kids because the climate won't be there when they get older. Maybe I shouldn't have kids because my house might catch on fire. Do us all a favor and don't have kids.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Please, God Almighty, do not procreate. Do not put another moron on this planet.
That you're going to indoctrinate with these lunatic policies. I mean, they have been saying, these climate cultists have been saying the Earth will end for decades now. I mean, they were saying it 30, 40 years ago. It used to be climate cooling, by the way.
Yes, global cooling.
We're going to go into another ice age. And now, yes, there is such a thing as, quote, climate change, but what is causing it and how detrimental is it to the world is something that nobody can prove.
Got an update on the Sergio Brown story. Now, we talked about this Monday when you were gone,
Nigel. The ex-Colt?
Yeah. He was kind of like the hype guy on that 2014 Colts team that made a run to the AFC Championship game. He was the 2 claps and a Ric Flair guy. Woo! Like kind of went viral. When we interviewed Ric Flair, he talked about Sergio Brown in that interview, if you remember.
Wow.
And his mother was found dead in a creek behind her house in a Chicago suburb. The police have ruled that a homicide, and Sergio Brown was missing. Well, I guess technically he's still missing, but he's leaving these very bizarre messages on social media. In one video, Sergio is seen walking past an area of condos in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. In another video, he claims the FBI killed his mom, kidnapped him twice, but he also says that she was on vacation and it's fake news.
Fake news. Fake news. Fake news. It has to be the FBI that came into my house on Bob Marley's death day, which is 511 Agent Gas, unwarranted. They kidnapped me twice from home, the Maywood Police Department, right? Chris Super did it twice.
What?
Aaron Peppers was there the second time that it happened. It had to be the FBI or the Maywood Police. I thought my mama was on vacation in Sinaloa. That's fake news. Get the out my goddamn face. She retired. If you want to come to me, the Maywood Police got to give me money. FBI had to do it. They got the power to do some shit like that. What the fuck is going on? That's fake news. Don't come with me.
Listen, okay. I'm not a drug counselor, but I know somebody out of their mind when I see it, and he is not well right now. I don't know what's going on, if it's drugs or whatever, but he put out a series of these very bizarre videos. In the latest one, he tags himself somewhere in Illinois.
Oh my God, oh my God, if I die, I'm a legend. Oh my God, if I die, I'm a legend.
So again, the authorities don't know where he's at right now, but that type of behavior, it's very bizarre. And
some mental health issues.
These things don't normally end well. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But these things don't normally end well. All right, Matt Baer, what's up?
All right, looking at northbound 465 on the northwest side, stop and go traffic 79th up to 865. And Lawrence, northbound 465 is stopped from 70 up to Penn Pike because of construction. Southbound 465 on-ramp partially blocked from 86th Street because of a spilled load. Eastbound 70 stop and go from Belmont to the South Split, turn north slope to Washington. Inbound 65 jamming 29th to the North Split. Traffic sponsored by Qdoba. It's finally here, National Queso Day. To celebrate, Qdoba is giving away a free large side of 3-cheese queso with your entree to drip your burrito. Use the code word DRIP in participating Qdoba. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Right now, we got sunshine, 83 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. Is this anything? Next.
QC Kinetics is not exaggerating when they say this. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all of that horrible pain. And unlike surgery, there's no downtime with QC treatments. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulder, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Call QC Kinetics right now. 317-559-PAIN. QC Kinetics is in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. QC Kinetics. 317-559-PAIN.
Diamonds Direct, pretty much making everything affordable with this deal they have going on now through October 1st. It's not going to last, so get in on it while you can, especially if you're planning for a fall engagement, maybe a Christmas gift or an anniversary present. People are loving this. 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years. So that $10,000 engagement ring is around $167 a month.
Rings, earrings, bracelet, bands. Make any purchase, divide that price by 60, and that, my friends, is your payment. And oh, by the way, no interest for 5 years. Diamonds Direct, they're basically rolling back interest rates to an all-time low, helping you buy that dream gift. Whatever it is, engagement ring, Christmas gift, you can afford it with this deal. DiamondsDirect.com. That's DiamondsDirect.com, or stop by that beautiful showroom at Keystone at the Crossing. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
America respects our first responders and veterans, the brave whose business is taking action when calamity strikes. It's dangerous work, often surrounded by sirens, shouting, even gunfire, so hearing loss is probable. First responders can turn to Relay Indiana. If you have trouble hearing on the telephone, visit RelayIndiana.com for voice recognition technology phones that allow the hearing impaired to have normal phone conversations. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Get clarity back on the phone. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
This Saturday at Anderson Speedway, the Boers Welding CRA Late Model Sportsmen compete in the Madison County 200 as part of Madison County's Bicentennial Celebration. 200 laps on the high bank paved quarter-mile oval, plus Noble Wine and Spirits Thunder Cars, Markham's Welding front-wheel drive, and Thunder Roadsters. Heats open at 4 p.m., racing at 7. Tickets $15, kids 6 to 12, $5, kids 5 and under free. Come see why everyone's saying, I'd rather be at Anderson Speedway.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer serving Central Indiana.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Hammer back in action. How do we play Is This Anything?
I'm going to run some stories by you. You break down all the information and give us the verdict. Is the story anything or not?
All right.
Is this anything? Hundreds of humans who identify as dogs gathered in Berlin.
Whoa. What'd you say? How did it start?
Hundreds of humans who identify as dogs have gathered in Berlin to howl and bark together. Here's a quick clip of the estimated 1,000 people who identify as dogs communicating with each other.
Yes, this is something. It's insane. It's insanity. And by the way, the left probably listens to this and says, oh, good for them. They find this a legitimate thing. You can identify as whatever you want, a unicorn, and you will be affirmed.
And if you think that's ridiculous, you're an extremist.
Exactly. I mean, Gavin Newsom is about to sign some law in California. It basically says, parents, if you don't affirm your kids when they come home and say, I'm a he and not a she, or vice versa, we're going to take them away from you. It's the same thing. If your kid comes home and says, I'm a dog, and I'm going to start howling my answers at you, and by the way, I need a cat litter box in the classroom, there are people on the left that look at that and say, well, we need to lean into that. These are adults. I mean, come on, really? Identify as dogs?
Between that and the pronouns, people around the world have to just look at this group. And it's not just the United States, because this was in Berlin, and just go, what is wrong with you people? Like, the pronoun stuff is interesting. My wife has a friend that is from overseas, and they came to the United States, and they were having like a party in their apartment to watch the opening NFL game a couple weeks ago on Thursday night.
Okay.
And they invited their friend, and their friend said, I'd like to bring a guest if that's okay. And that guest uses pronouns. So friend says, yeah, you have to refer to them as they. So the person hosting the party from overseas thought they were bringing multiple people because it's they, and they got this big elaborate spread of food out, and then just 2 people show up. He was pissed off. He wanted them to pay for the food.
What? That is hilarious.
Right?
He had no clue. If you identify as they, so you can't say, he's standing over there. You have to say they is standing over there?
If you're playing the game, right, yes.
They are standing over there.
Right. So this, person from the UK thought, okay, they, meaning multiple people, I'm going to get a big foot-long party sub, and we're going to do it up, and we'll have the game on, and 2 people showed up, and damn, I bought all this food, and they is one damn person.
I mean, Rachel Dolezal, the white woman that was running the NAACP, a local chapter, identified as black. And people confirmed and affirmed that. Not everybody did. A lot of people in the African-American community were like, But there are some highly radical leftist progressives that look at that situation and look at the humans who identify as dogs as the exact same thing. You can identify as whatever or whoever you want to be, and that's what you are.
I'd like to remind everyone, this is the same chair Mike Pence used to sit in.
Mike Pence.
When he would deliver the news of the day in a very dry, very smart way.
Pence never thought in a million years his old radio station, we were talking about humans who identify as dogs. How much money do these people make? How much free time do they have on their hands that they could travel to Berlin to howl and bark together?
Well, if you thought Mike Pence would be upset about the previous story, I present you this.
Okay.
Is this anything? A guy went outside to let a big beefy fart, and it was caught on a security camera.
I love these.
Now the video is making the rounds that shows the guy who goes outside, forgetting that he's being recorded on the house's security cam. Here you go.
So they showed it to him, and now he's laughing.
Yes.
At it. Oh, that's so funny.
Allison, can I hear that?
Yeah, I need, because the fart was real quick. I need to. that was a beefer.
Yeah,
right there.
I had a little bass to it.
Yeah, that was meaty. Yeah, that's something for sure. You're always people with those Ring doorbells, man. You got to be careful.
Now, this story has gone viral, so I thought we would get the opinions of some other folks.
Oh.
California Rep. Eric Swalwell, your thoughts?
The president used taxpayer dollars to ask the Ukrainians to help him cheat an election.
Okay. All right. Talk show host Wendy Williams, would you like to respond to Representative Swalwell?
And she probably got 5 new boyfriends. We haven't caught anybody coming out of the house yet, but just a matter of time. She's not lonely. I apologize.
Good debate. Good debate. The best part about that Wendy Williams clip is the audible from the crowd after she burps, which triggers the fart. Allison, can I hear that one more time, please?
And she probably got 5 new boyfriends. We haven't caught anybody coming out of the house yet, but just a matter of time. She's not lonely. I apologize.
Is that the biological process? The burp triggers the fart?
It does.
Okay. I'm going to have to read up on that. Wow.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Hey, Ruthie, a bunch
bunch of us are heading out to Monroe Lake today. Any recos for a good drink out by the lake?
Sure. Total Wine & More is practically lakeside headquarters. My personal favorite is an easy-sipping tequila like this new Reposado.
Ooh, I bet that tequila pairs well with my new camping chair.
And you can relax even more knowing this price is the lowest in town.
Wow, that low price leaves other stores in your wake.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at your Total Wine & More in Indianapolis. Drink responsibly. Be 21.
Oh, man, so much to be focused on, so much to be worried about in your life right now. You got the kids right in the middle of school. What are you doing for fall break? Maybe the driveway's falling apart. What you don't have to be worried about is your HVAC, your furnace and air conditioner system, especially if you're an American Standard owner like I am. If you need American Standard service, see one of those great local independent Indiana owners.
Marshall Mechanical, heating and cooling in Franklin, in Johnson, and the surrounding counties. Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling is your trusted American Standard heating and air dealer. So if you're tired of hearing the ads of get a free furnace with the purchase of an air conditioner, you know that's not legit, call Marshall today. Marshall will give you an honest and fair quote in Johnson and the surrounding counties. Visit callthemarshallnow.com. callthemarshallnow.com, 317-738-5940. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard heating and air built to a higher standard.
It's game time at York Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plainfield. Score big savings during Jeep Adventure Days and Ram Power Days. Get a new Jeep Compass. Lease it just $299 a month. A new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Lease it just $359 a month. A new Ram 1500. Lease it just $349 a month. Start your next drive at YorkCDJRofPlainfield.com.
We're not number one.
You are.
You're number one at York.
Hey, Nigel here. My sidewalk and front porch were falling apart and needed completely replaced. I was just going to go with basic, regular, generic concrete that looked the same as before, but my wife, thankfully, was like, And she showed me the Indie Decorative Concrete website, and I was completely blown away at what they could do in terms of taking a basic sidewalk and porch and turning it into a custom stamped concrete area with more space and an absolutely awesome, unique look. Indie Decorative Concrete is locally owned. They don't use subcontractors. Check them out at indiedecorativeconcrete.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's been out for a week, mostly sunny in the circle and 83 degrees. No rain on the radar, and that should continue through the evening with low temperatures falling to 61. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:30. Police think they're one step closer to catching murder suspect Kevin Mason, who was let out on accident from the adult detention center a week ago. They say Mason's girlfriend, Desiree Oliver, picked him up last Wednesday after he called her for a ride.
She originally picked him up somewhere down here near the jail. She then went to obtain a new cell phone. Later, she went to a Walmart up there on North Keystone, purchased some men's underwear, a travel kit, and some men's slippers.
Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestall says Oliver was arrested this afternoon. If you know where Mason is, call the police. Congress is trying to avoid a government shutdown. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy wants to pass a short-term spending plan to extend an end-of-the-month deadline. Indiana Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz says that's not the way to go about it.
September 30th didn't move on the calendar. We knew about that date. Under Republican leadership, we are increasing the amount of unauthorized spending. We don't have our appropriations done.
She tells Tony Katz today that neither Republicans nor Democrats have the backbone to challenge the corrupt swamp that's bankrupting your children and grandchildren. Ukraine's president wants Russia to lose its veto power. Fox's Kristen Goodwin explains.
Volodymyr Zelensky urging the United Nations Security Council to suspend Russia's veto power.
Regardless of who you are, the current UN system still makes you less influential than the veto power possessed by a few and misused by one, Russia.
Saying Russia's unprovoked aggression violated the UN Charter. Russia's foreign minister later suggesting the U.S. could command Ukraine to negotiate with Moscow. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The Fed is putting a pause on interest rate hikes, but that may not continue through the end of the year, says Chairman Jerome Powell.
We're prepared to raise rates further if appropriate, and we intend to hold policy at a restrictive level until we're confident that inflation is moving down sustainably toward our objective.
Powell says inflation is still above the central bank's goal of 2%. Stocks down today. The Dow fell by 76 points to 34,440. The S&P 500 dropping as well by 209 to 13,469. And the Nasdaq fell by 41, closing at 4,402. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:33.
You probably know how much money you've saved in your IRA or 401k, but do you know how much you'll owe in taxes on this money in retirement? Because that's the most important number you need to know right now. Otherwise, you don't know how much money you have.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how much money you'll owe in taxes with your IRA and 401k. Just go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com. Just input a few numbers and you'll instantly see how much money you'll owe in taxes when you retire. Plus, you'll see how much you could potentially save if you take advantage of simple tax planning strategies now.
It's from our good friend Bill Demery, right here in Indy. Don't give the government a nickel more in taxes than you have to. Go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
It's the simplest, easiest, potentially life-altering website, SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
With traffic at 434, how are the roads, Matt Bear?
Not great, Harrison. Looking at the south side, this is a crash in the work zone, westbound 465. It's on the ramp from US 31 as if you're going northbound to westbound 465. At the very end, the ramp is open, partially blocked with traffic backed up 265. Lawrence, northbound 465, stopped before 70 M2 Penn Pike because of construction. Eastbound 70 from the west side to downtown, stop and go from Tibbs to the south split turn north, and we are very slow to jam from the south to the north splits. Inbound 65, stop and go MLK to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by the Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show, September 22nd through the 24th at Grand Park. Hundreds of experts and thousands of ideas, plus marketplace shopping and kids entertainment. Get $5 tickets at suburbanindieshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Back into the 60s for tonight as clouds continue to increase. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. High temperatures warm in the low to mid 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Oh, do we have to? A border update? It's so depressing. Hammer, watching these people just stroll through the border.
Self-inflicted wound. We're allowing this to happen.
Well, we or Joe Biden and his policies the moment he took office.
Our elected officials, I should be clear about that.
I mean, like I use the term all the time. He rolled out the red carpet for people coming across the border. The Remain in Mexico policy, gone. Title 42, gone. And just in droves. And it's still going on. And I think, I was talking about this with Tony Katz yesterday while you were gone, it's still the number one story in America that nobody's talking about.
Right. Because it's the same story every day, and it's not getting any better. But because it's the same story, people lose interest. And by people, I mean 90% of the national media, which carries the water for the Joe Biden administration. So these are the new numbers per the CBP. There were 9,300 migrant encounters at the border in the last 24 hours. 9,300 in the last 24 hours. 7,600 apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally. 1,700 encountered by CBP at ports of entry, including mass paroles into the U.S., with CBP approximately saying 45,000 encounters in the last 5 days.
So get ready, Chicago. Get ready, L.A. Get ready, New York. The busing of the migrants is not going to stop. And I'm not convinced that it won't happen here in Indianapolis.
You can see Boss Hogsett rolling out the welcome wagon for these folks.
I don't know about that. Just because of the reaction to some of the other radical progressive leftists that are in charge of these blue cities, like in Chicago and in New York City, those reactions that we've seen out of them. Eric Adams has said they're ruining the city.
But their problem was they went public. Look at all the shady stuff Boss Hogsett does that he doesn't want you to know about. Like when he takes all the homeless folks and sends them to various hotels around Indianapolis whenever we have major events, or when COVID happened. I know one of them was that Crown Plaza Hotel over by the old airport. That was one of the hotels that Boss Hogsett does his rounding up to and sends them off. You can't tell me he wouldn't do the exact same thing with these folks coming in with the hope that one day they would find a way to vote for him or vote Democrat in the city of Indianapolis. I could totally see that happening. Bill Malugin is a reporter for Fox, and he is down at the border. He does a great job. This tweet from him, now keep in mind, he has been down at the border every single day for like the last year.
What is it, Eagle Pass right now?
Eagle Pass.
Oh
This
my
tweet
gosh.
should let you know how bad it is. Quote, "It's a total free-for-all in Eagles Pass right now. Mass illegal crossings taking place for over an hour and a half. Almost 2 years to the day, we saw 15,000 plus Haitians under the bridge in Del Rio. We now have thousands of predominantly Venezuelans gathering under the Eagle Pass Bridge." And where's Joe Biden? He's probably asleep, falling upstairs, or maybe going on vacation number 45 this month.
Or pumping his fist like Kirk Gibson. Yeah, my policies are working.
Sarah Carter, who also covers the border, and I just retweeted this tweet at Hammer and Nigel. Make sure you follow us. Quote, "My friend John, who lives near Eagle Pass, sent me this video from today." And there's a video attached. "I've covered the border for roughly 20 years, and it's never been as bad as it's been under the Biden administration."
Oh, I've seen the video at Eagle Pass, the Malugin earlier today on Fox News. It's mind-boggling.
And nobody's doing anything about it. Nobody's doing anything about it. Biden administration's way of, getting people off their backside is saying, well, we told them to download the app. They've got a court date. What you don't know about the app, unless you listen to this program, because we've talked about it, is that they have a 100% accept ratio. They're not turning anybody away with this app. If you download it, I don't care if you've killed 15 people, they're letting you into the country with a court date that we all know they're not going to show up for. That is what's really happening at the border right now. And you're right, Nige. It's so bad that even folks in very blue, hardcore Democrat cities are like, yeah, what the hell's going on here? We've talked about New York, but just 3 hours north in Chicago, residents showed up at a council meeting to speak with some of their local Chicago councilors. They were begging them to close the borders of Chicago.
I wanted to know if there is a capacity limit, and what is that limit, if there is one, and why can't we close the borders of Chicago or the state of Illinois in the first place? Why can't we close the borders?
I don't know if there's a limit. I do know that when you are seeking asylum, you are granted protections from the U.S. to not return. So that is the process that folks are going through when they come here and they get their interview, and then the Texas governor sends them to Illinois, and specifically Chicago.
So they get to come, once they do an interview in Texas, they get to come regardless. Texas says you're an asylum seeker, you're being persecuted, so yeah, you can leave your country and come here and go wherever you want.
Not Texas. This is the federal government is the one that does the process around asylum seeking. It is Texas who is making the decision to send them to Chicago.
And that's what I wanted to know. Can we say, no, we won't take anymore?
It has to come from the federal government.
Boy, remember the good old days when that kind of talk was considered xenophobic and racist and dangerous hate speech?
Seems like only yesterday, doesn't it?
Wow. And these people are blamed. First of all, I bet 99% of them voted for Joe Biden, whose policies are a direct result of what's happening in their town right now. And they're not addressing the problem. The councilman is blaming Texas. The guy's blaming Abbott. No, from Del Rio, Texas to Eagle Pass, it's like an hour. Joe Biden, remember in Del Rio, they had the wall of across
floating buoys, right?
The buoys that were helping stop illegals from crossing. It was not only saving their lives, but it was cutting down on the number. Joe Biden wants to take those down.
He's suing the state of Texas.
Yeah, exactly. So nobody's asking or addressing the question, hey, if you want to make a change, nobody's saying out loud, if you want to make a change, go vote in 2024 for a Republican that's going to shut the border down.
Right.
He's blaming that guy was blaming it on Abbott.
These people are saying the same things people at Eagles Pass have been saying for years now. But the thing is, Nige, let's be honest. They're too stupid to understand that voting for the same people over and over again will give you the same results. I promise you, whoever that angry woman was at that council meeting, she's not going to vote for Donald Trump if it's Trump and Biden on the ballot, even though she's bitching about every single thing Joe Biden has done to make her life and her city a living hell. That's how programmed so many of these people are. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, sharing an amazing deal that my friends at Hope Plumbing are bringing back to offer you. For a limited time, Hope Plumbing will buy back your old water heater for $1,000 with the installation of a tankless water heater. A tankless water heater guarantees endless hot water, saving money on your gas bill and saving space in your home. Call my friends at Hope Plumbing at 317-641-HOPE to get your tankless water heater installed today.
That kitchen or bath remodel you've been ready to start? With inflation rising, waiting is just going to make it more expensive. Start that remodel today. Hey, it's Tony Katz for Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. Get on the schedule now to avoid some of those price increases. Booher Remodeling is the finest remodeler in Central Indiana with the best materials and most skilled craftsmen. They'll guide you through the entire process to make your vision come to life. Go to BooherRemodeling.com to set up your free consultation. BooherRemodeling.com.
Don't fall for the free furnace upcharge tricks. Get an honest, fair quote from Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer. Call themarshallnow.com.
You know, one of the things people worry about when selling their home is, maybe they're worried that they're settling for less money with a lowball instant offer. I got to tell you, it's not the case with Mark Dietl. Take Ken and Teresa from Indianapolis. Here's what they had to say. A job transfer had us scrambling to sell our home. We were worried we were selling at the wrong time in a bad market. That wasn't the case for us with Mark Dietl. We got a full price offer in only 1 week with no inspection required.
Mark Dietl is the only real estate expert that we trust and recommend with the sale of our homes. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Call Mark Dietl today, 317-755-4232, or go to markdietl.com. Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdietl.com. Tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
The latest local news, commentary from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey,
5.6%.
Hammer and Nigel,
Biden.
Podcasts. Listen to the station live, whenever, wherever, online at WIBC.com.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
Yeah, Hammer, the crash cleared on the south side. It's westbound 465 on the on-ramp from 31. That is out of the interstate. Traffic still stopped back to I-65. Eastbound 70 from the west side to downtown. Jam fest from Tibbs into the south split. We turn north stop and go traffic to the north split. Lawrence northbound 465 stop before 70 up to Penn Pike because of road construction. Traffic sponsored by the Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show, September 22nd through the 24th at Grand Park. Hundreds of experts and thousands of ideas, plus marketplace shopping and kids entertainment. Get $5 tickets at suburbanindyshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
82 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
It is the side piece with Casey Daniels. Casey Daniels from Kendall and Casey show here on Hammer and Nigel. Casey, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I texted Hammer over the weekend. I think it was Sunday when I texted you, Hammer. I saw that attack ad from Sharif about Joe Hogsett, calling him Photo Op Joe. Joe Hogsett has been in politics for 30 years, never misses a chance for a Photoshop. But where was he during the riots? Where he was nowhere to be found. No Photoshops for Joe during the riots. I'm wondering, as Marion County residents, both of you are Marion County residents, this is the first time I've seen him say something like that, or a commercial, an attack ad asking where Joe Hogsett was during the nights of the riots. What do you think about that commercial? I liked it, but is it too little, too late? I'm not a Marion County voter, but I liked it, but is it too little, too late for you guys?
It's about time.
Yeah.
Where was he 6 weeks ago with that?
Right. You spent the majority of your campaign, because we're just about a month away from the election now, just a little bit over a month away. You spent the majority of your time and resources on things that you can't change. Gun laws and abortion. You spent that time finger wagging at law-abiding gun owners, and with about a little bit over a month away, oh, by the way, my opponent went missing during the riot. Where the hell was this?
You know what's so interesting about this, you guys, is Jefferson Shreve came in the studio. This is during the primary when it was still being determined whether it was going to be Jefferson Shreve or Abdul. And Rob and I, the Kendall and Casey show, we did an interview with Jefferson Shreve, and we just first met him. You recall, he brought in the Wendy's food because that was the joke. Has Jefferson Shreve, with his infinite money, ever been to a Wendy's?
Has he ever slummed it at a Wendy's?
Right. And he came into the studio and he brought us Wendy's, and we thought, okay, this is a nice guy, et cetera, et cetera. After the interview, off the air, as he was leaving the studio, he asked for our advice. And Rob directly said, you need to, in your campaign ads, ask where Joe Hogsett was. When was the primary?
It was a while back. It was in May.
Yeah. And now he's just getting around to it. Wasted time. He should have been on this from day one. And we told him that.
Because I think most people have made up their minds already. It's too late.
You think so?
It's too late in the process. I know they still have a debate coming up, and maybe that can sway a few people, depending if, Shreve knocks it out of the park.
Would it sway you?
Well, I already have other opinions based on other things.
Sure.
Not asking the question, where was Joe Hogsett during the riots? The whole gun thing. That was a big turnoff for me. And I think that was a big turnoff for a good base of his voters, that they're not going to come back from that. But to your point, he wasted time on that. He wasted time on this abortion thing, something that he can't change.
Right.
There's the outside voters, maybe the person who isn't as entrenched in politics as we are, who's going to see that and may go, oh, yeah, where was he? But I think it's the debate. He's got to hit it hard on that debate.
Any chance for you, Hammer?
Because I am, Casey mentioned for those that are not as, vested into this thing. I'm vested into this thing. I know the people running his campaign hate people like me. They're anti-gun Republicans. They're rhino Republicans. And that is who Jefferson Shreve is listening to. And unfortunately, that's the Marion County Republican Party right now. They think law-abiding people like me, who's never been arrested, I don't have a rap sheet, are the real problem in Indianapolis. So they're going to spend all of that money, all of his money, campaigning against people like me. So no, I am not going to vote for either one of these people. Okay. I know that rubs people the wrong way.
Yeah.
I am writing in Abdul. I'm sorry. You say I'm throwing my vote away. I'm saying both of these candidates, the loser, that is Joe Hogsett, and a guy who clearly hates people like me and Jefferson Shreve, they haven't earned my vote.
Okay, so Axios is reporting that Jefferson Shreve received more than triple the Google searches of Hogsett last month in Indianapolis. Now, you can attribute that to people are still learning about him, trying to figure out who he is.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but I think the big thing is if he's going to run that ad now, which is not on his YouTube page, it's not on his website. Like, I can't find it. I went and searched for it last night. So unless it just hits you in a YouTube ad or a Hulu, that's the only only way you're going
But
to see
Nigel,
it.
you saw the ad on television.
I saw it on TV. I think during before pregame Colts coverage. I think.
See, I went out and looked for it, and I could not find it. He is going to have to consistently run that for the rest of the campaign.
And let me go into that thing that Axios posted, and I think this is really cute from Axios because James Briggs works at Axios, and the moment that Jefferson Shreve rolled out his anti-gun plan, he did a story on our show because we were ripping him on the show, and I got quoted in that article. So people started researching who this guy was because he was making headlines.
Yeah.
It wasn't because somebody was wavering on the fence here in Marion County. They just wanted to see who the anti-gun Republican was.
Okay, so the big question, where was Joe Hogsett that Friday of the riots?
Right.
Ask me. We're talking, this is 3 years removed, right?
Right.
Ask me where I was.
Casey, where were you the night of the riots?
I know exactly where I was. I was in South Bend, Indiana, making a stop at Midwest Gun Exchange.
I was here at the
Buying
radio
a gun.
station on the air talking about what was about to happen in the city, and then I came back in on Monday.
We got the hell out of there.
Right.
Do you know where you were, Nigel?
Yeah, it was
with me, doing the show.
How is it that we know exactly where we were and we can answer it?
And how come nobody really in the media outside of the folks at Wish TV have grilled Joe Hogsett over this?
Yeah.
Real quick, I know we got to hit a break here. Tell me about the side piece article.
Oh, you know what? It's okay. So there's a big game coming up Saturday in South Bend. It's the big showdown.
Irish and Buckeyes.
Yes. Oh man, I know. So there's a nice article about the time and some stats about the two teams, but there's also some trivia questions. So how much time do we have?
None.
None time? I can't even ask you any of these trivia questions.
Ask me one.
Ask you one. What is the yellow sign Irish football players hit before running onto the field?
Oh, that's Play Like a Champion.
You're a fan. I love it.
Fun fact, at Wish TV, there's a big picture of Phil Sanchez hanging up outside the studio, and everybody's supposed to touch that before they walk in.
I love it.
That's a true story, and I'm not making that up.
All right, well, if you'd like to play along and answer some Notre Dame trivia questions, head over to WIBC.com and then select the side piece.
Casey Daniels, the Kendall and Casey Show. Thank you, dear.
Thanks, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
So I've been in my current house for about 10 years. It's 40 plus years old. The garage floor was never taken care of. It was old and dirty and cracked. And that's when I said, I got to bring in the guys from Galaxy to give me a brand new coating in my garage. They did a tremendous job. My new Galaxy concrete garage floor is out of this world. If you spend a lot of time in your garage like I do, you're going to love it. It's 4 times as strong, easy to clean. They don't use epoxy. They use something much better. It's called Polyurea Plus. The manufacturer just upgraded the warranty from 15 years to lifetime. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com or call them 751-9070.
Stop right now and ask yourself, what is most important to you? Hey, this is Casey Weed at Howard Bailey Financial, the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. We believe in developing retirement plans driven by what is most important to you, your purpose. Then we can build what we call your financial life plan, made up of 4 main pillars: liquidity for emergencies, income to last a lifetime, flexibility to adapt, estate planning to maximize your legacy, and finally, tax planning to maximize what you can spend and pass on. To learn more about saving on your taxes, get your free digital tax guide. Just call or text TAX42 to 866-482-9559. That's TAX42 to 866-482-9559.
Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
JMV here for Miss M's Home and Garden by Sundown Gardens, now open in Bargersville. You've been hearing about it. It's here. Fall plants, including mums, trees, shrubs, outdoor and seasonal indoor decor. Check out their lake house decor section, too. And right now, to celebrate their opening, save 20% off nursery stock and 50% off pottery at Miss M's Home and Garden this week. Miss M's Home and Garden by Sundown Gardens, half-mile south of Whiteland Road on State Road 135 in Bargersville. MissM'sHomeandGarden.com.
At a time when you need it most, Diamonds Direct is doing something that seems impossible. They're rolling back finance rates to 0%. You heard it right. Now through October 1st, you can get 0.0 for 5 years. So that $10,000 engagement ring is around $167 a month. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, make any purchase, divide the price by 60, and that's your payment. No interest for 5 years. It's the only time this year you can do this. Get details, showroom hours, and more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. On Approved credit.
Okay, next time you're at the store, I dare you to not think about the unmistakable fresh, clean scent of Irish Spring. Yeah, you heard me. I want you to resist picturing a shower filled with those sensational Irish Spring suds. And if you succeed, well, you got what my gramps used to call resolutitude. Not a real word, but let's be honest, you're probably going to end up leaving with Irish Spring because of its irresistible scent and because you have zero resolutitude. Pick up Irish Spring at Walmart today.
Hi, I'm Joe Wrights, former Colts offensive lineman.
And I'm Jill Wrights. Traumatic brain injury is so sad and so life-changing.
That's why we support a groundbreaking organization building a better future for adults living with a TBI.
WIBC was founded right here in Indiana, but what we are doing will affect families around the country, families struggling to support and lift up their loved one after a life-changing head injury.
Go to braininjury.me, that's braininjury.me.
It's time to get in the tailgating spirit, Indiana. Take a little trip this football season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 1,000 vehicles. Chevy, Ford, GMC, Buick, Nissan, Acura, Mazda, Honda, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle includes a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. Get in the tailgating spirit, Indiana, because Hubler's got you covered this football season for 100,000 miles. So what drives Indiana? DriveHubler.com. For over 1,000 vehicles, visit any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
The Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show at Grant Park, September 22nd through 24th.
Featuring over 200 amazing exhibitors.
Tickets are only $5 at suburbanindieshows.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the girlfriend of a missing murder suspect has been arrested. Indiana Congresswoman Victoria Spartz would like to see less government spending, and the U.S. Department of Education is honoring a few schools in Indiana. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC. WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
Possible movement in a Senate logjam. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. A procedural hurdle just cleared, setting up a confirmation vote tonight on the new Joint Chiefs chairman. This as the Senate leader takes action on a few of the many military officials held up over an abortion fight.
For months, hundreds of senior military officers have waited for promotions because of what Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says is a reckless and dangerous abuse of procedure by Alabama Republican Tommy Tuberville.
They should already be serving in their new positions. The Senate should not have to go through procedural hoops just to please one brazen and misguided senator.
Schumer has set up votes on 3 of those top positions: the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, commandant of the Marine Corps, and the Army Chief of Staff. Tuberville has blocked fast-track confirmations because of objections to Pentagon policy that provides time off and travel expenses for abortions.
Fox's Jarrett Halpern on Capitol Hill. Attorney General Merrick Garland insisting he's hands-off a special counsel probe of the president's son, as Republicans, including Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson, pressed him on whistleblower claims.
I promised the Senate that I would not interfere with Mr. Weiss.
So you have not, I'm just under oath today, your testimony is you have not had any discussions with Mr. Weiss about this matter?
Under oath, my testimony today is that I promised the Senate I would not intrude in his investigation.
The White House calling today's House hearing on DOJ oversight a circus, accusing Republicans of using attacks on the president as distraction from the risk of a government shutdown as House Republicans debate each other on spending issues. The family of a man who died while handcuffed and pinned to the floor as he was being admitted to a Virginia psychiatric hospital reaches a more than $8 million settlement with the state, county, and sheriff's officials. Court documents show a judge has approved the out-of-court wrongful death settlement. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He's been out for a week. 82 degrees and sunny in downtown Indianapolis. Nothing on your radar. Low of 61 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. Police shared an update on escaped murder suspect Kevin Mason this afternoon. They've arrested one woman and are questioning another. Sam Fritz reports.
The Marion County Sheriff's Office has made an arrest in relation to Tuesday's escape of Kevin Mason, a man wanted for homicide. Police arrested Desiree Oliver, who they believe picked Mason up from the jail on September 13th. Oliver made multiple stops, including a Walmart for men's underwear and to acquire a new cell phone. Sheriff Kerry Forstall says that police have certain areas under surveillance.
Giving the last opportunity we would have given to Desiree Oliver to safely surrender Kevin Mason or tell where she took him when she brought him from the jail.
If anyone has any information on Mason's whereabouts, you're encouraged to call the police. Sam Fritz, 93 WIBC Mobile News. Sam Fritz, Network Indiana.
Sharon Key has been charged with a felony. IMPD officer Michael Young showed up at a Days Inn on the Northeast Side last night to find an infant stabbed in a hotel room.
A lot of our officers, paramedics, fire, they have children that are infants, and so you can imagine when they arrive, what our officers go through.
The girl was taken to the Riley Hospital for Children. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy wants to pass a temporary spending bill that avoids a government shutdown with an end-of-the-month deadline. Indiana Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz says she's tired of all the government spending.
I'm fine if we're going to increase spending on some of the issues, but then where are your cuts? Where are we going to be cutting something?
She tells WIBC's Tony Katz that the Republican House is failing the American people again and making everything a circus. Making a difference, that's what the U.S. Department of Education says 11 schools in Indiana are doing.
One of them is Sugar Grove Elementary in Greenwood. I'm John Herrick. They were one of those 11 schools that was named a National Blue Ribbon School. Sugar Grove's principal, Kristen Rodman, says she couldn't have done it without her teachers, who she spoke to on Tuesday.
Around 11% of schools receive this award. So this is a really big deal, and it's because of you, because you're all rock stars. So congratulations to all of you.
Other schools who took home the honor were in Rolling Prairie, Indianapolis, and DeMott, just to name a few. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
It's time to get in the tailgating spirit, Indiana. Take a little trip this football season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 1,000 vehicles. Chevy, Ford, GMC, Buick, Nissan, Acura, Mazda, Honda, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle includes a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. Get in the tailgating spirit, Indiana, because Hubler's got you covered this football season for 100,000 miles. So what drives Indiana? DriveHubler.com. For over 1,000 vehicles, visit any of our 12 locations. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
With traffic on the 5s at 5:05, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, eastbound 70 stop traffic. That is Holt Road into Meridian, Illinois. Then we are slow as we go north on northbound 65-70 from the south split all the way up to the north split. Just dragging right now, just like inbound 70 in pockets from Emerson to the north split. That is slow. Inbound 65 stop and go traffic before MLK to Meridian Penn. In Lawrence, northbound 465 jammed up after Washington Street to Penn Pike. Delay time 28 minutes through that construction zone. And then northbound 465 northwest side stop and go traffic 86th Street to 865. It's a crash. Shadeland Avenue south of 75th reported with injury. Traffic sponsored by Isaacs and Isaacs. Were you hurt in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident? The insurance companies don't have the advantage of video proof that the Hammer may have. Call today or visit roadproof.wewin.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Back into the 60s for tonight as clouds continue to increase. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. High temperatures warm in the low to mid 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
I'm Harrison Silcox on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. I keep on seeing conflicting headlines with this auto union strike. I mean, one headline one day I'll see, hey, we're getting close, we're getting near a deal, and then the other day, like, we're anywhere near close to a deal. This strike is going on forever, Hammer.
The UAW president, Shawn Fain, says that there will be more folks picketing, more folks striking if no progress is reached by noon on Friday. Now, we don't know what his definition of progress is. Bill Clinton, your definition of is.
Yeah.
But last time we checked, they were pretty far off. The auto workers want a 40% raise and a 4-day work week. And the folks at the big three motors are like, yeah, that's impossible. We would basically have to go into bankruptcy if that were the case.
The more this strike goes on, the more plants that start to walk out. No Indiana plants have walked out yet, by the way. There's 3 involved in this thing in Indiana, I believe, Hammer, but none of them have walked out. I mean, the more it will cause an economic reverberation throughout the country because of the trickle-down effect and how many hundreds, if not thousands, of peripheral and ancillary businesses are involved in making automobiles.
There will be people that lose their jobs that really don't have a dog in the fight here, and that's unfortunate. Now, Donald Trump has stated that instead of doing that next GOP debate coming up, he is going to be doing a speech to the Michigan auto workers that night. So while DeSantis and Nikki Haley and Ramaswamy are all on the debate stage at the Reagan Library, Donald Trump's going to be rallying the auto workers in Michigan, which, by the way, is a swing state.
Yeah.
So if you're Donald Trump, the timing actually might be in your favor here. The UAW president, Shawn Fain, ripping Donald Trump because he's wanting to do that. Quote, every fiber of our union is being poured into fighting the billionaire class and an economy that enriches people like Donald Trump at the expense of the workers.
You know, the auto unions, the teachers' unions in general are heavy Democratic donors. So that doesn't surprise me one bit.
Right. So keep this in mind. They're wanting a 40% raise in a 4-day work week, but they're ripping on the people who have pretty much got what they've wanted in the past. Donald Trump, he's a rich guy. The head of Ford, they're rich guys. They're the bad guys, according to the union. But this is why I've heard people say the union is not winning the fight with public opinion right now. There's a lot of people right now, police officers, ambulance drivers, teachers, that would love to have a 40% raise and a 4-day work week, but that's impossible. It's not going to happen. So again, we got a lot of folks that listen to this show that are vested into what's happening here. All we're pointing out is that the fight with public opinion is not going the way of the auto workers right now. But maybe this will change things, Nige, because yesterday the Democrats brought the big guns into this UAW dispute.
Oh, boy.
They brought somebody in to deliver a rallying speech. Just an amazing, Braveheart-like speech that will fire up everybody and let them know we mean business.
My message to the CEOs is, at $74 million, collectively earning that, how many yachts can they need, to water ski behind it. You know, I mean, it's just crazy, you know.
John Fetterman firing up the base.
You threw me with that one.
What an amazing speech, Nigel. Not since Coach Dale of Hickory High School in the locker room have I heard such a motivational speech to fire people up.
Forget about the crowds, the size of the school, their fancy uniforms. And remember what got you here.
You know, it's $74 million, you know, collectively earning that.
Focus on the fundamentals. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're going to be winners.
You know, how many yachts can they need, to yacht?
Okay?
To water ski behind it.
All right. Let's go. Let's go.
You know, how many yachts can they need, to water?
If you're not ready to run through a brick wall, you don't have a soul right now. That amazing speech by John Fetterman to fire up the auto workers.
Wow.
So, producer Allison, we have got the transcript.
Yes, this again.
Great.
We made her do this yesterday when you were gone, Hammer. I love this.
Yeah, I got to see Ding-a-ling on air. It's great.
You got to what?
I got to say Ding-a-ling on air.
Say Ding-a-ling. Oh, you said see.
Oh,
okay.
No, that's every day with you guys.
Man, sad it happened without me. So this is the official transcript of the speech, the rip-roaring, fire-up-the-base speech that Fetterman gave. Miss Allison, the floor is yours.
My message to the CEOs is, it's $74 million, collectively earning that. How many yachts can they need, to yacht, to water, ski behind? You know what I mean? It's crazy,
Producer Allison, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
now
let me try it again. Can I try it? Can I try to read along with it?
Please read along with it, yes.
Me or Allison?
How about everybody?
Okay.
Everybody. It's an all skate here.
I love it. 3, 2, 1.
My message to the CEOs is, $74 million, collectively earning that. How many yachts can they need, to yacht, to water, ski behind it,
I mean, it's crazy,
Oh, it's really smooth.
That's the first time that's ever happened on the show. A 3-way reading of a John
Hall
Fetterman
of Fame
quote.
radio right there.
If that doesn't win a Marconi, the award should not exist. Big Nige, we've got a lewd, nude dude in the news.
Here's another lewd, nude dude in the news.
Buffalo, New York man, a Buffalo Bills fan, was charged after he allegedly jumped a fence while under the influence of multiple drugs and alcohol, then fell into a pit at the new Bills stadium. Here is the sheriff talking about the incident.
When you're taking LSD and cocaine and marijuana, you're going to not read the signs. You're not going to read anything. You wouldn't be in a porta potty jumping inside it, covering yourself with human excrement. You wouldn't be doing that. This is a very isolated issue.
Now, hold on 1 second here. You say these are Bills fans we're talking about, right?
Yeah, he jumped into the new Bills stadium that they were building and then got into a porta potty and naked and spread feces all over himself.
So the sheriff is saying, well, you wouldn't do that unless you were on drugs. You're talking about a fan base that for sport, they put each other through tables in the parking lot. They hit each other with chairs. They call it chairway to heaven. But all of a sudden, now this is a problem? I'm not buying it.
This has been another
lewd, nude dude in the news.
Matt Bear standing by. He has a look at the roads.
All right, Hammer over in Lawrence, northbound 465. Stop at 470 up to Penn Pike because of construction. Northbound 465 on the northwest side. Stop and go from 79th up to 865. A delay forming up eastbound 74 like you're going from Brownsburg to Indianapolis. It's at Raceway Road, and we have an eye on it. Eastbound 70 stopped into downtown from the west side. It's Holt Road to the south split. Southbound 65 stop and go traffic 29th to Meridian Penn. And southbound 465 on the southwest side, slow 70 to the White River. Traffic sponsored by Grand Appliance. Shop Grand Appliance for outstanding service, expert advice, and unbeatable deals on innovative appliance brands like Samsung. Learn more at grandappliance.com or a store near you. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
83 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Real estate research reports housing prices are still slowly rising, and inventory is still below historical averages. Now is a great time to get a big payday from your equity growth. Hire the agent who is an expert on maximizing your home price fast, Mark Dietl. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Jim and Emily in Shelbyville had to say about Mark Dietl. We were ready for more space and an upgrade for our family. We heard about Mark and we were impressed by his aggressive marketing plan. Impressive is right. Home sold in 2 days for cash at asking price. Mark also found our new bigger, better home and arranged so we could stay in our old home until move-in day. Call for all the details. Call the agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl, 317-755-4232, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
How would you like to free up some serious cash? Cash money, baby. With Loan Pronto, you can make it happen. Hammer here from the Hammer and Nigel show, and people are getting out some serious money from Loan Pronto. You can get $50,000 or $100,000 out right now. As a matter of fact, you can access about 90% of your home's value. And what's great is that Loan Pronto, they do all the paperwork. They will let you supervise everything, and usually this can happen without an appraisal. So you can pay off some of those ridiculous 27% interest credit cards. Maybe you can do some home remodeling around the house. Get your money with Loan Pronto. LoanPronto.com. 317-953-6525. That's 953-6525. 953-6525. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781. Subject to lender approval.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
The Indianapolis Ballet presents Balancing Acts at the Toby Theater at Newfields, September 22nd through the 24th, featuring George Balanchine's beautiful Allegro Brilliant, the exciting Don Quixote Suite, and the premiere of The Planets. Your Indianapolis Ballet, September 22nd through the 24th. For subscriptions and single tickets, go to indieballet.org. See you at the ballet.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
Did you know that people born from 1945 to 1965 have the highest rates of hepatitis C, but most don't know they're infected? People can live for decades without symptoms, but over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage and even liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 1965, the CDC recommends that you get a blood test for hepatitis C. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
This hour is powered by Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealers serving Central Indiana.
Are you really okay with this?
Are you okay? Everything's gonna be okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm pretty far from okay.
Are you okay with this? On the Hammer and Nigel show.
Oh, yeah!
I didn't get to see the Monday Night Football theme music from Chris Stapleton and Snoop Dogg Hammer on Monday Night Football. People are still talking about it, apparently. They did a cover of Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight with Cindy Blackman on the drums. Cindy Blackman is Santana's wife. She also plays drums for Lenny Kravitz, I believe. So we made an edit. I want you to check it out. We cut out sort of the football sound bites here, and I want to know if you're okay with this. Monday Night Football theme.
Stapleton and Snoop.
Yeah. I like it so far, man.
Okay.
Let's see what Snoop Dogg is.
Rivals, us versus them, survival. We must win, it's tribal. My team like Ken, by any means necessary. One head-to-head with adversaries. Nothing is given, so we...
All right, I don't hate it. I like the Stapleton part better than the Snoop part. And it's not because I'm anti-Snoop. I actually like Snoop's music a great deal. That's kind of the stuff that I grew up listening to in high school and stuff. It wasn't energetic enough, right? The Stapleton part, he's the soulful guy. You want that soulful feeling, and I think he delivers there.
Killer, actually.
I wanted a little bit more juice out of Snoop, if you will.
Wait a minute, who used to be Monday Night Football?
For a long time, it was just the iconic instrumental, dun, 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 which is what I walked out to at our wedding reception, by the way.
Forgot about that.
And then it went to Hank Williams Jr. Are you ready for some football?
Right.
And they've kind of just been doing various different things since then because... Hank Jr. is way too conservative for the fine folks at ESPN.
Okay.
They also had to part ways with John Rich for their college football college game day show. So they tried different things every week, and I didn't think this was too bad. Like, of all the remakes you could do, I could have listened to that one and be all right.
By the way, the wife and I bought tickets to Chris Stapleton and the King. We somehow got in.
So you decided not to send your kids to college because those tickets are expensive.
Yeah, $200 plus a ticket. We'll just leave it at that.
And I assume that gets you in not the lower level, not like by the stage.
Man, I don't even know. I don't know. I think it's club level.
You're up there by the banners in Lucas Oil.
200 plus.
You're going to take a selfie next to the AFC finalist banner for $200 to get in.
All right. I can't decide if this next one is horrific or just sort of a sweet story. I don't know. An Arizona dog reunited with his family after going missing for 12 years. The dog was gone for 12 years, reunited all of a sudden. But Minion, the dog, died due to complications from anesthesia while having a dental procedure. Upon his return home, the family buried Minion, the dog, in their backyard, planted a tree over his grave. Are you okay with this?
No, I'm not, because imagine the emotional roller coaster that everybody is on. So let's start with the family. They probably loved Minion. Minion was a beloved member of their family, a pet. And then for 12 years, they'd assumed Minion was gone. Minion was dead. It ran out. No way it was going to survive the harsh Arizona terrain for 12 years without some sort of care. But damn it, Minion did. And Minion survived. And Minion finally finds his family. And what happens? The doctor killed the dog. The anesthesiologist killed the dog.
That's awful.
After it had been on its own, surviving 12 years of Arizona heat, dust storms, and everything else, some dude who was probably just looking at his watch, waiting to get to the links to tee off, gave too much juice to poor Minion, and now he's dead. What the hell? No, I'm not okay with this.
Where'd they get this done? At Walmart?
Right.
Is that where the dental procedures happen for dogs? That's a bad... It's sweet. I'm glad the family got to spend a little bit of time with the dog that's been missing for 12 years. If they had kids, they're all grown up now. But the anesthesiologist, like you said, gave it too much juice, and now he's gone. Imagine having to come back out after that. You think it's just a routine dental procedure for a dog, and the vet walks out. Yeah, sorry, dead.
And imagine poor Minion. You survived 12 years of whatever Arizona summer has to offer. You finally find your loved ones. They take you to a dentist appointment and kill you. Poor Minion, this sucks.
That's really bad. The new iPhone update lets you avoid texts with unwanted nudes. Hammer. Apple's latest iPhone update's got a new feature called Sensitive Content Warning that automatically blurs nude photos and text messages that you might not want to see. Are you okay with this?
No, I'm not.
No?
Bring the nudes on. If some woman, God bless her, is willing to send me a naked photo of her cans or nether region, I don't want Apple to blur it, thank you very much. And if I am going to be the one that gives the people what they want, and I send someone a picture of Big Jim and the twins, I want them to see it. I sent it for a reason. I don't want any censorship here from those weasels over at iPhone.
Where is Judge Deneen? Pervert!
Like, let's be honest here. Joking aside, this is designed for women because when women send you a sexy picture, they want you to see it. They will only ask for a photo of you if they want one. So, dudes, we've talked about this before. If she is not asking for a picture of your hog, do not send a picture of your hog. She does not want to see that.
I have one friend in his 40s around my age that still does that with people that he dates.
I thought you meant he sent them to you.
Not with me, no.
Good Lord.
I would.
What are you guys doing in Zionsville?
I would activate this feature in the iPhone if that was the case. All right, the Prince of Bavaria.
Where?
I didn't even know Bavaria had a prince. I don't even understand. Bavaria is like it's a state in the southeast of Germany.
I thought it was a type of donut.
Like you might be right. You're also right. I think like Munich is its biggest city, but the Prince of Bavaria is calling out low-cut costumes made in China that people are wearing to Oktoberfests there in Germany. He's saying they're insulting and cultural appropriation. Are you okay with this?
So according to the Prince of Bavaria, everybody drinking so much that they pass out and puke in a trash can is just fine, and that's not insulting or cultural inappropriation. But chicks wearing low-cut, outfits, that's the problem? That's where we're going to draw the line here? No, I'm not okay with this. Let people have a little fun. This is what Oktoberfests and Halloween is all about. Skanks. Let them do their thing, Nigel.
Actually, let's go to the audio here. We have a statement from the Prince of Bavaria on this here.
As the Prince of Bavaria, I would like to express my outrage for the excessive low-cut costumes for Oktoberfesten. If you're showing off your breastises, ye are in double trouble, and we would like you to wear a bra, or as we like to call them, to stop them from flopping. Thank you for letting me get this off my chest, and I'm sure that you are overflowing with regret. Please remember, we are here if you need support.
You like that accent there, Nige? Does that work for you?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Keeps them from flopping. Did you hear that?
Is that what they call the bra over there? The kids keeps them from flopping.
Tony Kennett from the Daily Signal. He is coming up next. Right now, let's break down and take a look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
They found his girlfriend. 83 degrees and sunny in downtown Indianapolis. Your radar's clear. Temps drop to 62 tonight. Tom Harrison, Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:29. Police believe they're getting closer to catching murder suspect Kevin Mason, who was let go by mistake by the Marion County Sheriff's Office at the Adult Detention Center a week ago. They say Mason's girlfriend, Desiree Oliver, picked him up September 13th after he called her.
She originally picked him up somewhere down here near the jail. She then went to obtain a new cell phone. Later, she went to a Walmart up there on North Keystone, purchased some men's underwear, a travel kit, and some men's slippers.
Marion County Sheriff Kerry Forrestall says they arrested Oliver Wednesday afternoon, but they're still looking for Mason. If you know where he is, give police a call. Presidential candidate Donald Trump says he's had enough of Bidenomics.
We've had the biggest inflation we've had in 52 years, so that's a lot of years, and it's been a lot of suffering. I see bacon is up six times, bacon. Who would think, right?
Speaking at a campaign event in Iowa, the Fed did announce a pause in interest rate hikes today.
As expected, the Fed will be holding interest rates steady. Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
We decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged and to continue to reduce our securities holdings.
The central bank raised their benchmark federal funds rate at their previous meeting in July to a range of between 5.25% and 5.5%. But at Wednesday's meeting, officials signaled they were prepared to raise rates once more this year to combat inflation.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. Congress is trying to avoid a government shutdown. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy wants to pass a short-term spending plan to extend an end-of-the-month deadline. Indiana Republican Congresswoman Victoria Spartz says that's not the right way to go about it.
September 30th didn't move on the calendar. We knew about that date. Under Republican leadership, we increased the amount of unauthorized spending. We don't have our appropriations done.
She tells Tony Katz today that neither Republicans nor Democrats have the backbone to challenge the corrupt swamp that's bankrupting your children and grandchildren. Making a difference. That's what the U.S. Department of Education says 11 Indiana schools are doing.
One of them is Sugar Grove Elementary in Greenwood. I'm John Herrick. They were one of those 11 schools that was named a National Blue Ribbon School. Sugar Grove's principal, Kristen Rodman, says she couldn't have done it without her teachers, who she spoke to on Tuesday.
Around 11% of schools receive this award. So this is a really big deal, and it's because of you, because you're all rock stars. So congratulations to all of you.
Other schools who took home the honor were in Rolling Prairie, Indianapolis, and DeMott, just to name a few. John Herrick, 93, WIBC Mobile News.
With traffic at 5:32, what's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, I'm in Lawrence northbound 465 stop before 72 Penn Pike because of the lane closures. 3 right lanes blocked, 2 left lanes open until early September 25th, that's Monday. We're looking at inbound 69 stop and go 106th Street down to 82nd. Eastbound 465 heavy from Keystone over to Allisonville Road. Southbound 65 at Grind from MLK to Meridian Bend, and eastbound 70 stop and go traffic. That's Tibbs to Meridian, Illinois. Crash Shadeland Avenue south of 75th. Traffic sponsored by the Suburban Indy Home and Outdoor Living Show. September 22nd through the 24th at Grand Park. Hundreds of experts and thousands of ideas plus marketplace shopping and kids entertainment. Get $5 tickets at suburbanindyshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Back into the 60s for tonight as clouds continue to increase. Tomorrow will be a mostly cloudy day. High temperatures warm in the low to mid 80s. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show. Hammer's over there. I'm Nigel. We'll go to the hotline and bring on Tony Kinnett, investigative reporter for the Daily Signal. Let's head straight out to California. Something you reported on early on is coming true out there in California involving parents' rights and how they're actually could be possibly taken away. Start at the beginning, Tony, and what is happening in California and why everybody should be paying attention to this.
There's this original bill that was written called AB 957 in California that was supposed to force judges to take into account whether a child was receiving gender affirmation or at least consideration from their parents in custody cases. And Senator Scott Wiener, and yes, that is his name, a very staunch LGBTQ advocate, reformed this bill, gave it several amendments, and made gender affirmation of a child's gender transition one of like the 3 or 4 basic needs of a child under California family law, which means that if you don't gender affirm your child's transition, your transgender transition for your kid, then they can take away custody rights for you. So you can lose custody rights. There may also be penal code implications, meaning that a parent or organization that doesn't provide affirmation for a transition could be charged with child abuse. Really horrible stuff. And it just passed the California Assembly and Senate, which means it's on its way to Newsom's desk, and he's expected to sign it.
So, explain this to me in layman's terms, as somebody who's a concerned parent in Indiana. If this passes in California, if Gavin Newsom signs this, is this going to happen like in other states?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, Jennifer McCormick follows a lot of the same social pattern policy that comes out of California. You'll see the kind of policies that she promotes. And as California Democrats go, so do the rest of the Democrats in the country go. And they will use arguments like, well, you care about kids, don't you? Having a live transgender child is a lot better than a dead child that you didn't let be transgender, to use the Trevor Project's language. And so you could see a case where your kid comes home from school, says they're a different gender now, and if you don't support that, you may lose custody rights or be charged with child abuse. That is this policy.
Tony, go back to that language analogy that you gave right there. Has there ever been a definitive study that suicide rates go sky high on kids that are transitioning if people don't call them by the proper name? Has there ever been a legitimate study in regards to that?
No, and I say there hasn't been a legitimate study because when you actually take into account the last several decades of youth psychological study, children who are told that they're not just perfect the way they are, that if they have a mental struggle that they're going through, like gender dysphoria, telling them maybe you need professional help and counseling to get over this instead of leaning into it actually has a net positive effect instead of what the Trevor Project suggests, which is that if you tell a child they're not transgender, then they're immediately going to commit suicide. There's no scientific basis in a peer-reviewed journal for that at all.
You mentioned Jennifer McCormick. She is the Democrat running for governor of Indiana, and how her policies are similar to those that are in California. But there are laws already passed in Indiana that would prevent what's happening in California from happening in Indiana, right?
Well, technically, Indiana Penal Code states that certain situations have to be proven regarding child abuse. However, Indiana Family Code, I mean, we've already rejected opportunities, that would be the Indiana legislature, has already rejected opportunities to protect parents who don't believe in LGBTQ stuff. So you already are seeing cases in Indiana where kids are being taken out of homes because their parent don't believe that the kid is transgender. This happened with a family in Anderson not too long ago.
And Tony, I think this is important and it's worthy of bringing up. And I know Rob Kendall talks about this a lot on his show, but just because Indiana is a red state and a politician at the state house might have an R next to their name, it doesn't mean that they are going to govern like a conservative. And we've been seeing that more and more in this state.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. And this is one of the things that infuriates a lot of voters in Indiana who elect individuals who say they're going to go to the state house and they're going to fight for them. They're going to fight on their behalf. They're going to protect conservative and family values. The second they get into the state house, though, they get bullied into, well, you don't want to be a bad guy, do you? You don't want to be mean and hurtful, do you? And then all of a sudden, these, great defenders that were sent to the state house become mewling wimps. And we've seen this with legislators from Fishers all the way up to Fort Wayne.
Big picture, back to California for just a second. I mean, that's communist type stuff right there. Like the state owns your kids. Is it not? I mean,
I would argue that it's probably more in line with fascism that we saw out of Italy and Germany in the 30s, in which the Hitler Youth programs that were created in specific to separate a child from their parents. And then if the parents didn't support that, they could be expecting a knock on the door from the Gestapo. And then this was translated into what we saw in the Gulag Archipelago, which came out of the Soviet Union. So anywhere there's a state that wants to impact children, you're going to see this kind of wedging the state between parents and their children.
Tony Kennett joining us. Tony is an investigative reporter for the Daily Signal, longtime educator here in Indy. Tony, I know education is kind of your wheelhouse, and you've got an article up at the Daily Signal about some of these teacher union heads and the hypocrisy that goes along with it. Take me through the article.
So there are a lot of teachers union anti-school choice advocates who say, look, private schools, they're not accountable. They're not good. Public schools are where all of our kids should be going. That's where all of our money should be going. And we shouldn't allow new private schools to get licenses to operate. We shouldn't allow, and you get this, that, and the other regarding how much they hate any kind of educational choice opportunities, until it comes to their children. And we have found union official after Democrat in Congress or from the House to the Senate who sends their kids to private school. So when it comes to your kids, you shouldn't be allowed to send your kids to a private school, but them, they should totally be allowed, and it's totally fine, and they can afford it, and so they spend, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year to send their kid to a fancy private school. But sorry, pal, you're out of luck if you come from one of the areas that you might not have a lot of money to spend on a private school. Sorry, pal, you're out of luck.
And Tony, we talked about this on Monday a little bit. The teachers' unions compared to, say, the auto workers union right now, it's almost like a total opposite, right? Because the auto workers, they look up and say, we hate the people that are running us. They're making too much money. They need to pass it down. While the teachers who have that same problem, the administrators making so much damn money they don't pass down, they keep kissing the ass of the administrators and never criticize them at all, despite the fact that a lot of states, like Indiana, keep giving more and more money to education. Why don't the teachers' unions criticize their administrators? It's bizarre to me.
Because the teacher unions are the ones brokering these backroom deals with the administrators of the schools to get every political aim that the state union wants. And I just released a report on this from Louisiana, in which all of the things that teachers want, more time to work in their classrooms, more freedom over the curriculum that they're teaching as opposed to what the school is requiring itself, more freedom to handle disciplinary situations without the administration, telling the teacher they have to suck it up and deal with the fights. Those are things that teachers want, but the union isn't fighting for that. The union is fighting for the political aims that the state overhead wants. And so they're basically, it's the situation where you have the union leaders, which are the scabs. It's completely different from the UAW. It's completely different from a working man's union. This is basically this kind of smoke and mirrors bureaucracy that forces teachers to pay for a service that's doing them absolutely nothing.
A lot of great teachers out there, and a lot of teachers don't like what the unions stand for. I can imagine there's some teachers out there that are completely bewildered by somebody like AFT President Randy Weingarten. I mean, she was on Squawk Box the other day talking about the United Auto Workers union strike. For what reason, I have no idea. And then I just saw she tweeted out something about how, look, Republicans are banning books. They just fired a teacher for reading the Diary of Anne Frank to the fifth graders. She's a liar, because that's not what that story's about.
No, and that's not at all. And the best part is she said, this story speaks for itself. That's what's going on here. Only that's not at all what's happened in that specific instance. There was a teacher who made the graphic diary of a portrayal of Anne Frank's life as part of the curriculum. It was not her diary, and it has very graphic scenes on molestation. It has very graphic sexual scenes. It has very, very disturbing scenes that don't have to do with the Diary of Anne Frank, which, by the way, several Indiana schools teach the Diary of Anne Frank. And, oh, yeah, most of those are private schools and religious schools, the very ones that are supposed to be banning all of these books. So, no, it's not banning the Diary of Anne Frank. That is completely and utterly false. Maybe parents don't want middle school students to be reading graphic depictions of molestation.
Yeah, it was the students that were reading those graphic depictions in this animated the book, right? And that's why they fired.
I know there are a lot of librarians out there who say that graphic novels are just as important as books. No, they're not. I'm sorry. But some author drawing a graphic sexual comic is not as good as a classic novel where students are learning about syntax and advanced structuring of phonics and how the English language was developed over time. And not to mention the brilliant writing of the classics. That's not as important as genderqueer or a graphic diary about people being molested. Two different things, guys. Come on.
I love the Secretary of State of Illinois was appalled by Senator Kennedy of Louisiana reading an excerpt from Gender Queer directly to him, to his face. And you could tell he was bothered by it a little bit. And for some reason, the political left and like 90% of the national media made Senator Kennedy out to be the bad guy.
I love that. So it's inappropriate to read in Congress. It's inappropriate to read in school board meetings, yet it's appropriate for your seventh grader to, peruse in the middle school library. Hold on a second here. It's not appropriate for the adult to read in front of a company of other adults, but it's inappropriate, or it's totally fine for the child, the impressionable child, to read. I'm a little confused as to the priorities here. We agree that it's inappropriate but appropriate for children. What kind of clown flip opposite world are we living in?
All right, can you stick around for one more segment?
You got it.
Back with Tony Kinnett here in just a second. 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Zero Res, and how about a game-winning strategy to tackle those ugly summer stains in those carpets? More than that, your carpets are the largest air filter in your home and can hold 4 times their weight in dirt. Where do you think everybody sneezes, wipes their shoes, and drops food? That's right, your carpets. And the kids are headed back to the germ pools at school, and they need a safe space when they get back home. It really is a great time to clean the carpets, and it's quick and easy to schedule online. Nobody but Zero Res has the patented electrolyzed ZR water that cleans with no soap, no harsh chemicals, and no residue to attract more dirt. They can even clean your ductwork to help you breathe easier. Duct cleaning improves the air quality in your home as well as the efficiency of your HVAC equipment and reducing energy costs. Schedule online today at ZeroResIndy.com and mention WIBC. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $139, and they'll give you a free hallway and $50 off air duct cleaning too. For a smarter, lasting clean and really easy scheduling, visit ZeroResIndy.com.
You probably know how much money you've saved in your IRA or 401k, but do you know how much you'll owe in taxes on this money in retirement? Because that's the most important number you need to know right now. Otherwise, you don't know how much money you have.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how much money you'll owe in taxes with your IRA and 401k. Just go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com. Just input a few numbers and you'll instantly see how much money you'll owe in taxes when you retire. Plus, you'll see how much you could potentially save if you take advantage of simple tax planning strategies now.
It's from our good friend Bill Demery, right here in Indy. Don't give the government a nickel more in taxes than you have to. Go to SaveTaxesWithBill.com. That's SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
It's the simplest, easiest, potentially life-altering website, SaveTaxesWithBill.com.
At a time when you need it most, Diamonds Direct is doing something that seems impossible. They're rolling back finance rates to 0%. You heard it right. Now through October 1st, you can get 0.0 for 5 years. So that $10,000 engagement ring is around $167 a month. Rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, make any purchase, divide the price by 60, and that's your payment. No interest for 5 years. It's the only time this year you can do this. Get details, showroom hours, and more at DiamondsDirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. On Approved credit.
Do you have a crawl space? Do you know what's in your crawl space? Hi, I'm Adam Swain with Swain Co. Crawl Space and Basement Repair, a real local Indiana family-owned crawl space and basement repair contractor. Protect your family and your home from your unhealthy crawl space by calling Indy's most trusted, award-winning experts for a free crawl space consultation at 317-407-1868 or SwainCoLLC.com. And don't forget to ask about our easy, no-interest, no-payment financing.
A cancer diagnosis can come as a sudden, unexpected shock. At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll talk to an expert within 48 hours, so you can start finding the answers you need.
So me being able to see Dr. Moore so quickly, I think that helped give my mind a little bit more peace.
Your circle of support just got stronger. Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun, brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
What will you find at Macy's Backstage? Here's a hint. Fall finds for $25 and under, like sharp blazers, cozy sweaters, cargo pants, jackets, and more. Find the latest trends and new arrivals at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
Don't fall for the free furnace upcharge tricks. Get an honest, fair quote from Marshall Mechanical Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard Air dealer. Call themarshallnow.com.
The Home and Garden Show hits the road again this Saturday. Join us live from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Sullivan Hardware and Garden to celebrate the first day of fall during the final week of their patio tent sale. Sullivan Hardware and Garden and 93 WIBC.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
And we're southbound 65 stop-and-go traffic from the White River to Meridian Penn. Inbound 70 slows before the north split. Delay continues on northbound 65 to West Street. Eastbound 70 stop-and-go after Tibbs to Meridian, Illinois. And in Lawrence, northbound 465 stop from Washington Street to Penn Pike. That's because of construction. Traffic sponsored by the Suburban Indie Home and Outdoor Living Show, September 22nd through the 24th at Grand Park. Hundreds of experts and thousands of ideas, plus marketplace shopping and kids entertainment. Get $5 tickets at suburbanindieshows.com. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
83 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
All right, it's the Hammer and Nigel show, back with Tony Kinney. Got about 2 minutes left. You had an article up at Daily Signal, or one of your coworkers wrote the article about what's going on in Pennsylvania and voter registration, and how, again, this is something that's happening in Pennsylvania. Why should we all be, what is happening, and why should we all be paying attention to it?
Absolutely. So Governor Shapiro, or as some Democrats call him, the potential dark horse candidate to face off with Newsom if Biden, let's say, becomes unable to run for the presidency again. He's getting behind this proposed policy of automatic voter registration. Now, you might think, well, automatic voter registration, there's a lot of other things that are automatic. What's the problem? You guys also might remember that people who are dead and alive get voter registration cards in the mail saying, hey, it's time to register to vote. It's not a very quickly updated system. People get letters sent to the complete opposite address regarding voter registration very often. I'm still getting voter registration cards for Wisconsin, and I haven't lived there in close to a decade. And yet I'm still getting asked if I'm ready to vote in Wisconsin. And that's like official mail. So I don't think that an automatic system is perhaps the best way to go. You know, everyone's automatically registered to vote. What safeguards are there for this? You know, how are we going to prevent individuals from claiming to be someone else? If you show an electronic ticket that says, hey, I'm registered to vote, then, I mean, we already see QR spoofing in like parking garages and like pay to park systems. Who is to say that a QR system can't be manipulated here? Horrible idea.
When's the new show start, Tony?
So we were pushing it back to the end of September, and there's a few reasons for that. We're getting some of the bugs worked out because I'm doing the show remotely. I'm also very picky because I want certain graphics to be on the screen. I want like an opportunity for more sponsors.
Oh, just get on the damn radio already.
Man, we need the Tony Kinnett show.
No one's
right?
going to watch a stream. Just get on the damn radio already, Tonus.
When does it start? It's going to be 7 to... We are your lead-ins. It's going to be 7 to 8 weeknights on 93 WIBC coming very soon, right?
It is going to be 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., and we are probably going to launch it right around A Night with WIBC, which we'll all be at. So if you got a ticket to that, that's where you're going to hear about the big, exciting event, the Tony Kinnett Cast, coming soon on WIBC.
Find his work at The Daily Signal, on Twitter, at The Tonus. Tony Kinnett, thank you.
Thanks for giving me hell, guys.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
It's time to get in the tailgating spirit, Indiana. Take a little trip this football season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Shop any of Hubler's 12 locations or visit drivehubler.com and choose from over 1,000 vehicles. Chevy, Ford, GMC, Buick, Nissan, Acura, Mazda, Honda, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones.